Hello and welcome inside White House Field as the Harwich Mariners are set to take on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. I'm Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner Thomas Inzarella. And Thomas, first let's start with last night's game versus the Cotuit Cavaliers. The Harwich Mariners had a tough loss last night.
No, it was definitely a tough loss. They just took a while to get the bats going, and in the end they came up just short with a couple late inning rallies to try to get going, especially the ninth inning with bases loaded and 2 outs. Just a line drive, couldn't find the hole off the bat of Chris Galland. So unfortunate for the Mariners. I'm going to pull off the victory, but a nice way to continue their stride after winning 2 games and losing to Chatham, trying to get back on the right track. So they fall back behind 500 now, 11-12-1 with their current record. But I think not that bad of a game yesterday. The bats came around towards the end, and the pitching by Buckner was excellent. So we'll have to see if Dreyer this evening can try to continue that pitching.
And you mentioned Jack Dreyer. Let's take a look at tonight's pitching matchup for the Harwich Mariners. It's Jack Dreyer taking the mound for the Harwich Mariners. Did not allow a single run in his last outing versus the Chatham Anglers. And on the mound for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks is Jeremy Randolph. Break down this matchup.
So Jack Dreyer pitched excellent in his road. He got a no decision, but the Anglers were able to top the Mariners by a score of 5-1 back on June 30th. That was the last time he pitched. He's made 4 appearances so far, 2 from as a starting pitcher. Remember, he pitched against us in Hyannis, got a little rough job. He pitched probably about 3 excellent innings and then ran to the 4th and 5th, ran to a little bit of trouble. So the ERA might not reflect how the game was actually played. He did record 4 strikeouts and 4 1/3, but gave up 3 runs, or 4 runs, 3 of them being earned. So Dreyer really looked a lot better his last time out. He only gave 1 run. It was unearned actually, and only gave up 5 hits with 4 Ks through 5 innings. So let's try to continue things here in the right direction, and with that rest, it might add up for him for a nice quality start. However, Jeremy Randolph might be just a bit better. Randolph so far, he is 22 punch-outs on the year, which is good for 5th in the league, and he's made 2. He's kind of a similar situation. He's made 2 starts and 4 appearances, and his last start against Bourne, he got the no decision. He gave 3 runs and 4. Basically, kind of what Dreyer had his first time out. So they're kind of in similar situations, and this is also Randolph's 3rd time pitching now against Harwich. He made a bullpen out of the bullpen the first game in Hyannis, and then he made the start against Harwich in a 2-0 victory in 4 2/3. Gave up no runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. So as we've seen from Randolph, he's gotten better over time against facing the same team. So 3rd time around, it can be a toss-up whether the hitters are going to benefit from seeing a pitcher more times, or the pitcher might react just a bit better to the hitters.
Yeah, Jeremy Randolph out of Wright State had a really strong year this past season, 2.55 ERA, and you mentioned it versus Harwich. He's been outstanding in 6 2/3 innings of work, has not allowed a single earned run. And we transition from there into the players to watch for tonight's game. Who do you look for out of both teams tonight, Thomas?
Well, I would say for Hyannis, they're a team that the run differential is probably the worst in the league, but they found a way to win. They're kind of a grit and grind team. They'll get guys on base. When they have guys on base, they will take advantage of that. So I think Dreyer is going to need to get on with his quality starts out as starting pitching has done all year for the Mariners. And then probably the 2 players to watch for on Hyannis are probably their number 2, 3 guys, with Braden Como and Matthew Barefoot. Those 2 guys have been killing it at the plate for the Harbor Hawks. They're right now 2nd and 3rd respectively in the league in average, with Barefoot in 2nd, Como in 3rd, and then in the 6th is Gray. Gray is unfortunately not on up this evening, but he's better. He's 6th in the league in average with a 345 average. So there's a lot of dangerous weapons in this lineup, especially with Todd Lott as well, who's leading the league, tied for 1st in the league with Andrew Vaughn and Spencer Torkelson. Lott has 5 long balls on the year. He's in the 5 hole as well. So there's kind of a mix-up around this lineup for the Harbor Hawks. So it should be interesting how Dreyer will attack these hitters and how he does.
And who do you look for offensively for the Harwich Mariners tonight?
Well, the Harwich Mariners have been kind of the same over the last couple games. That's been Aaron Shunk and Andre Lipsius. Those have been the RBI machines for the Mariners. Those 2 guys have really been stringing together a nice strew of games, a couple base hits. Shunk now with an 8 RBI game streak going on, and Lynch has been a guy that's been hitting the ball hard off. He's got to really adjust to the wood and bat and really starting to hit some balls hard around the ballpark. So we'll see. We'll see if Lipsius can continue that trend here, and Gabe Rivera too in the 9-hole. I think Rivera's been when he's been down the 8-9 area, he's been considerably well. So we'll see if he can continue that.
We'll step aside for the national anthem. Be back for the first pitch. You're listening to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back on a beautiful Monday evening as we are just moments away from the first pitch at White House Field. The Harwich Mariners set to take on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. And Thomas, take us around the diamond for the Harwich Mariners this evening.
So going around the diamond, starting in the outfield is Nate Eichhoff, and left Gorski out in center. Chris Gallant in right field. At third base is one of the Bulldogs, Aaron Shunk. Turner Morris over at short, and Danny Casals at second, with Lipsius over at first, and Mason Meadows, another one of those catchers out of Georgia, doing the catching for Jack Dreyer.
And now the starting lineup for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Batting first and playing third base is Davis Wenzel. Batting second and playing second base is Braden Como. Batting third and playing left field, Matt Barefoot. The cleanup hitter and doing the catching is Pedro Pages. Batting fifth and the designated hitter is Todd Lott. Batting sixth and playing first base is Brady Lindsley. Batting seventh and playing center field, Tommy Jew. Batting eighth and playing shortstop is Will Holland. And closing out the order and playing right field is Eric Rivera. And now we take a look at the starting pitcher for the Harwich Mariners tonight. It's Jack Dreyer.
Yeah, Jack Dreyer is talking, just building off what's in the pregame show, a guy that is making his fifth appearance, his third start on the Cape League season. He's pitched, his first start was back in Hyannis back on June 14th, early on in the season. So he's making his, and the last start out, he's excellent against Chatham. He took the notice home, the no decision. They 5-1 lost in Chatham at Veterans Field, but he looked excellent in that game. 5 scoreless innings, gave a 1 run unearned though. 5 hits, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. So we'll see how he attacks this dangerous Hyannis Harbor Hawks lineup.
And from the right side, Davis Wenzel steps in. And the first pitch from Dreyer is swung on and fouled off down the right field side, out of play, and count 0-1. Harwich Mariners looking to rebound off of a couple of tough losses versus both the Chatham Anglers and the Cotuit Kettleers as the 0-1 pitch misses outside and the count 1-1.
Yeah, so far the Mariners have been playing almost around 500. You know, they might win 2 or 3 in a row, and they might lose then the next, lose 2 or 3 in a row. So they're always around 500, which isn't bad either.
The 1-1 pitch is cut on, a high fly ball towards deep center field. Gorski heading back, and he makes the catch in front of the track. So 1 away in the top half of the first inning.
And especially with the way the bats have been starting to come alive, you just think, if the pitching continues to do what they've done the whole season, the bats start to produce. I mean, the sky is the limit for this team. You could see them, go 8-2 in a 10-game stretch. So, you never know.
And once playoffs come around, you can catch fire. It's a whole different season at that time of year as the second hitter, Braden Como, steps into the right-hander's batter's box and takes strike 1.
I mean, just think about what Brewster did last year. I mean, they were almost playing every single elimination game, in each series, and they ended up winning that game. So.
And the 0-1 pitch, check swing, misses outside, and the count 1-1 strike. Como in the midst of a 10-game hitting streak. And that is not number 1 on the roster, though, as Barefoot, who stands on deck, has him beat as the 1-1 pitch is fouled off down the third base side. Barefoot in the middle of a 13-game hit streak, and he's reached base safely in all 21 games he's played. It's a very strong top of the order for the Harbor Hawks. 1-2 pitch to Como. Misses low for ball 2, and the count 2-2. Base path's empty, 1 out. Top of the first inning in a scoreless game. The 2-2 pitch to Como. Cut on and fouled off over towards the Harbor Hawks dugout. Count remains 2 strikes. And what's really hurt the Harbor Hawks this season has been the pitching. They have allowed 119 runs, which is the second most in the Cape Cod League, only to the Brewster Whitecaps. 2-2 offering. Breaking ball in there for strike 3. Dreyer strikes out Braden Como. And they're 2 away in the top of the first.
And just unfortunately, the Mariners have been able to hit against this Hyannis pitching. So far, 0-3 against the Harbor Hawks coming into this game, and look to change things here as Hyannis now leads the West Division.
As you were talking about earlier last game, the Mariners have had trouble versus teams that are really good as the three-hitter Matthew Barefoot steps into the right-hander's batter's box. First pitch to Barefoot, misses low in the dirt with a fastball. And we say that as the number 1 team in the East Division and the number 2 or 3 team, Chatham, depending on which way you want to cut it, as to where they stand in comparison to the Mariners. They're basically tied for second. The Mariners are 0-6 against those teams, and if you add Hyannis into the equation, who's second in the West, they're 0-9 as the 1-0 pitch clips the outside corner and count 1-1. So again, they've struggled against the teams that are really strong, but when you look at the teams that have struggled this season, whether it be the Brewster Whitecaps or the Orleans Firebirds, they've done quite well as the 1-1 pitch misses low in the dirt, count 2-1. They're 5-0 against those two teams. So they've found ways to get wins against the teams they should be beating, but when it comes to the teams that are tougher to beat, they've had a tough time this year. 2-1 delivery, cut on a line down the left field line, foul, and the count 2-2.
Think about the games against Orleans too. I mean, one of them was a walk-off home run by Galland, and then another one of them was the Danny Casals go-ahead 2-run home run in extra innings. So they've been able to put together some heroic efforts there.
2-2 delivery to Barefoot is swung on and fouled off down the right field line, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter. Barefoot steps back in from the right side. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball cut on a high pop up into shallow right field. Charging in is Galland. It's going to drop for a base hit. A Texas leaguer out in right field as it splits the second baseman Casals and the right fielder Galland. There's a runner on first with 2 outs.
That was just a high pop up, and it might have been caught by the wind too. It's blowing in just a bit, and it just drops right in between the second baseman Casals and the right fielder Galland. It's a tough play for both of them because it's always tough for a second baseman to go back towards that ball. And then it's equally hard enough for a short fly ball in for a right fielder.
And stepping in from the right side is Pedro Pages. Cleanup hitter in this evening's game. Has 3 home runs on the season. The first pitch is cut on and fouled off. Pages steps back in from the right side. The 0-1 pitch swung on a high pop up over towards the Hyannis dugout, fouled out of play, in the count 0-2. Pages digs his back foot in back on the right side. 0-2 pitch swung on, a high chopper down the third base line, foul. Shunk picks it up to the foul side of third base. Runner on first base, 2 outs, top of the first inning in a scoreless ball game. Barefoot leads off first, 2 outs. The 0-2 pitch from Dreyer. Cut on and missed. Breaking ball gets Pages swinging, and that'll do it for the top half of the first inning. The Harbor Hawks strand 1. After the top of the first, it is the Mariners nothing. And the Harbor Hawks nothing. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back in the bottom half of the first inning in a scoreless ball game. Stepping in from the right side is Chris Galland. And Thomas, take us around the diamond for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks.
Matthew Barefoot over in left field, Tommy Chu out in center, Rivera over in right, Davis Wenzel at third, Holland at short, Como at second, Lindsay at first, and Pedro Page is doing the catching for Jeremy Wright.
First pitch to Chris Galland is cut on and missed. Galland steps back in from the right side. The 0-1 pitch cut on, a high pop-up down the first base line, and it's going to fall for a base hit. It's a Texas leaguer down the right field side. We talked about one back in the top half of the first inning, and Galland gets his own to lead things off in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, again, just the wind is blowing just a bit in, I believe, so it's just holding the balls for just a bit longer. And it's just another two back-to-back perfectly placed fly balls out towards right field. Not much better you can get than that.
And Gorski now steps in from the right side. First pitch from Randolph. This is low and in the dirt, and the count 1-0. And just if you weren't sure, term Texas leaguer is just another term for a bloop hit. Originates back when a player in a Texas league had about 4 or 5 bloop hits in a row to start off his career, and he was then named the Texas Leaguer. So Galland leads off first base. Gorski in the right-hander's batter's box. The 1-0 offering. This is upstairs in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Tonight's starting lineup for the Harwich Mariners, batting first and playing right field, Chris Galland. Batting second and playing center, Matt Gorski. Batting third and playing third base, Aaron Shunk. The cleanup hitter playing first base, Andre Lipsius. Batting fifth and playing second is Danny Casals. Batting sixth and playing shortstop, Tanner Morris. Batting seventh and playing left field is Nate Eichhoff. As Randolph tosses over to first base. Diving back in safely is Galland. 8-hitter is Mason Meadows. He's doing the catching tonight. And closing out the order, the designated hitter, Gabe Rivera. The 2-0 pitch. Fastball misses upstairs in the count, 3 balls and no strikes on Gorski. Randolph has had a couple of appearances against the Harwich Mariners this season. He's done quite well. 6 2/3 innings of work. Has not allowed an earned run. 3-0 pitch. Runs upstairs and inside on Gorski. It's a 4-pitch walk. The tall right-handed hitter out of Indiana. There's the runners on first and second with nobody out in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, back in his last start against Harwich, he walked 2 Mariners over 4 2/3 with 5 punch-outs. He's a guy that has 4 walks in 16 innings pitched, and 2 of those walks have come against Harwich. The other 2 came against Brewster and his other start.
And the 3-hitter for the Harwich Mariners, Aaron Shunk, digs in from the right side. Gorski off of first, Galland off second. No outs, bottom of the first inning in a scoreless game as the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses just off the outside corner. You could tell Randolph wanted that pitch, and especially in a situation where he has had trouble finding the zone over the first couple of batters, and he wants to start off with a strike. But he does not get the benefit of the doubt from the home plate umpire, Bill Pompa. 1-0 pitch. Fastball, that one's in there for strike 1.
Especially watch that first pitch strike, especially against a guy who's as dangerous as Aaron Shunk is.
Aaron Shunk in the midst of a 10-game hit streak, a 9-game RBI streak. He's only played in 10 games so far on Cape Cod, so it's a hit in every game, and RBI in every game but his first one is the 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball low in the dirt, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike on the right-handed hitter.
That was a high-powered offense down in Georgia. You know, Keegan McGovern, a guy who was an All-American down there. Georgia played on for the Orleans just a few years ago, 2 years ago.
The 2-1 pitch cut on, a high fly ball down the left field line, tailing foul over towards the Harwich Mariners bullpen. The count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Shunk hitting .390 so far on Cape Cod. While he does not yet register for batting average, or the top batting average on Cape Cod, he would be second only to Shenton Austin Shenton playing for the Wareham Gatemen. And the 2-2 pitch, cut on and miss, fastball as Shunk goes down swinging. And there's one away in the bottom half of the first inning, and it's a big out for Jeremy Randolph.
Well, it's definitely a big out for him, as now he could just one pitch away from getting out of this inning. As Shunk has a word with his teammate Danny Casals, who's on deck.
Andre Lipsius digs in from the right side. Only two left-handed hitters in tonight's lineup. It's Tanner Morris and Nate Eichhoff. The first pitch misses low, and the count 1-0. Randolph is a right-handed hitter, so it's not like they're trying to play matchups tonight with the large number of right-handed hitters in the lineup. Gallen off of second base, Gorski off of first with one out in the bottom of the first inning. 1-0 pitch. Fastball in there for strike one. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. Andre Lipsius 7 for his last 17 at the plate. It's over the past 5 games, including 2 home runs during that span. The 1-1 pitch, check swing. And it's in there for strike 2 nonetheless, in the count 1-2.
It's a big RBI spot right now. If the Mariners, again, just scratching across that first run could go a long way for them to secure a victory, and they haven't been able to do it the last 2 games.
And the 1-2 pitch swung on. A line drive through the hole on the right side for a base hit. Heading into third base and pulling up is Chris Gallen. So the bases are loaded with 1 out. After a single into right field off the bat of Andre Lipsius.
That was another hard hit ball by Lipsius, who said in the pregame show he's been a guy that's been really putting things together now with the wood bat. He's been hitting a lot of hard hit balls, even though not all have been dropped for base hits. He's at least hitting the ball hard, and that's something good to see. He lines it just past the outstretched arms of Braden Como over there at second base, and that's why Gallen had to wait just a little bit to see where the ball was going to end up.
And digging in from the right side, the right-handed hitter, Danny Casals out of Maine. We've seen his power this season. He had a home run versus Orleans, and he had 14 back in college. First pitch is cut on and chopped foul down the third base line. Count 0-1, and it's become an easier opportunity now for the Harwich Mariners to try to play to run. A sac fly should do it. A ground ball in the infield, while there is a double play threat, could also score the run if it's just the fielder's choice. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses upstairs in the count 1 ball and 1 strike.
And this is actually the exact situation that Harwich was working on in BP today. Bases loaded, 1 out. You got to put the ball in the air, and that's what these Harwich Mariners hitters were actually practicing.
Well, let's see if it'll pay off here. The 1-1 pitch goes around and a check swing in the count 1-2. It was a breaking ball a little bit low and out of the zone. But he goes around and the count's 1-2. Gallen off third, Gorski off second, Lipsius leads off of first base. 1 out, bottom of the first inning, a scoreless game from White House Field. The 1-2 pitch to Casals, fastball cut on and missed, struck him out. And he goes down swinging for the second out of the bottom of the first inning.
Yeah, Wright's had 2 big Randolph, excuse me, has had 2 big punch outs this half inning. Both his outs so far, and that's another big one now. Is just he doesn't have to worry about the fly ball out to the outfield with 1 out. Another 2 outs. He'll take any out now.
And Tanner Morris was in the midst of a 17-game on-base streak. He's reached base safely in every single one of those games. First pitch cut on and fouled off down the left field line, out of play, in the count 0-1. He's found himself in the 6th spot tonight. He's sort of been all over the lineup, and it will help at least with the bottom of the lineup, finding him in the 6th spot.
Yeah, no, especially if you get Shunk and Lipsius, those 3-4, and Casals, those 3-4-5 guys on, Morris can drive in some runs. He's proving he can put the ball in play.
0-1 pitch swung on and fouled off towards the Harwich Mariners bullpen, and the count no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, someone on the hill tried to do a little scoop job with that, just You know, if you're a Harwich Mariners coach, you got to stay down on that pick. You know, you got to keep the hat down. You can't come up too quickly.
My view was cut off of the Harwich Mariners bullpen from this window. I couldn't quite see it. I just saw that it went over towards the bullpen. Space is loaded with 2 outs. 0-2 pitch. Misses outside with a fastball on the count 1-2. Randolph gets the sign from Pages. Bases loaded with 2 outs. Mariners looking to drive a couple of runs in. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball misses outside and the count 2-2.
Good take there by Morris. Really close pitch, but able to lay off. And especially the outside corner, the toughest pitch for a lefty to hit. Especially low and away, a fastball.
First fastball was up and away. This most recent one, as you mentioned, a little bit lower and away. And the 2-2 pitch. Cut on, a blooper into left field for a base hit. Gallen scores. Rounding third is Gorski. He'll score. It's a 2 RBI single off the bat of Tanner Morris, and the Harwich Mariners jump on top 2-0 in the bottom of the first.
And this is a big boost for the Mariners now, as I mentioned just early in the broadcast. Scoring those first runs, it really gives your pitcher a lot of confidence on the mound. So when Dry goes back out the next half inning, it really helps as a pitcher on the mound, knowing, hey, I got a 2-run cushion right now, and you don't feel like you have to force anything, and you know you're not afraid to make a lot of mistakes with your pitches.
And Tanner Morris, who has been big for the Harwich Mariners all season long, comes up for the big for the Mariners in the bottom half of the first inning. And the 7-hitter, Nate Eichhoff, who digs in from the left side, takes ball 1 outside. We mentioned a little bit about there are only 2 left-handed hitters in the Mariners lineup and how they're probably not playing strategy with so few left-handed hitters. But I think even more than that, the lefties are back-to-back. Usually you'd think you'd spread them out in the order, so the pitching staff would have to work around the left-handed hitters as the 1-0 pitch runs inside and the count 2-0.
Well, especially, too, you know, in this situation where if a pitcher gets into trouble, he's going to have to face back-to-back left-handers right in the middle to the bottom half of the lineup, which is always a tough task for a pitcher to deal against.
Runners on first and second, 2 outs. Nate Eichhoff waves his bat in the left-hander's batter's box. The 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball runs low, and the count 3 balls and no strikes. Eichhoff restraps the batting gloves. Steps out of the box, now back in. Morris off of first. Lipsius off second. Mariners already on top 2-0 in the bottom of the first. 3-0 pitch. Fastball misses well inside, and Nate Eichhoff draws a 4-pitch walk. And Jeremy Randolph sees his pitch count start to rise in the first inning. Already 28 pitches thrown from the right-hander.
Again, he's not a guy that's going to walk a lot of hitters. Again, only 4 walks on the season coming in, and 2 of them back in his second start against Harwich, and now 2 of them tonight as well. He's already walked 2 hitters in the first inning as the pitching coach Ron Polk will come out and talk to his right-hander.
The entire bullpen has joined him for this meeting. Just to recap what's happened, it was a bloop single to right field to start things off for Chris Galland. Then Matt Gorski followed him up with a walk. Runners on first and second with no outs. Then Aaron Shunk struck out. Andre Lipsius hit a single to right field. The bases were loaded with 2 outs after Casal struck out. And Tanner Morris had a 2 RBI single to give the Mariners a 2-0 lead. And then Nate Eichhoff just had a 4-pitch walk. So the bases are loaded once again. Mason Meadows, the 8-hitter in the Mariners order, steps in from the right side. So it's Lipsius off of first. Lipsius off of third as the first pitch misses low for ball 1. Morris off of second and Eichhoff off of first. As Meadows looks to extend the 2-run lead for the Harwich Mariners. Pitch number 30 of the inning from Randolph is cut on, high pop up into shallow right field. Coming on is Rivera, and he makes the catch for the final out of the inning. The Mariners score 2 and strand 3 at the end of one inning of play. It's the Mariners 2 and the Harbor Hawks nothing. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Back from White House Field in the top half of the second inning, the Mariners put up 2 runs in the bottom half of the first and lead this game 2-0. As Todd Lott, the designated hitter for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, digs in from the right side. First pitch, fastball right down the middle, and the count 0-1.
A lot of players his college ball at University of Louisiana Lafayette, one of the raging Cajuns down there. You can see he's wearing his red and white batting gloves with a kind of a reddish bat.
0-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses outside, and the count 1-1 strike to the right-handed hitter. The 1-1 cut on and fouled off down the right field side, out of play.
And lots of guy that has a lot of power here in the 5-hole for the Harbor Hawks. He has 5 long balls on this season, which is good for tie for first with a nice crew up there with Spencer Torkelson and Andrew Vaughn.
1-2 pitch. Breaking ball cut on and missed. He struck him out. There's one away in the top of the second. Now, I will say that's not quite a fair comparison, though, because Torkelson and Vaughn both left for Team USA about a week and a half ago. So,
yeah, I know, but I mean,
still, don't get me wrong, impressive,
yeah.
Impressive, don't get me wrong. But still, since they left, I guess it's now two full weeks now. I think it was that Monday.
Well, that's why we're saying, we were talking with the Chatham broadcast sometimes. Won't be surprised when Torkelson comes back and still will lead the whole league in home runs, even though they left for 2-3 whole weeks, And
the first pitch to the left-handed hitter, Brady Lindsley, is in there for a strike.
I believe they're down in Atlanta now at SunTrust Park, but following their Team USA on Instagram.
They've generally been in the southeast.
Yeah, they're in Cary before, and then Durham.
0-1 pitch, swung on and chopped over to short. Morris Fields, throw across the diamond, and it's in time, 2 away in the top of the second.
This is a very similar start to what Dreyer had in his first time out against Hyannis. He pitched a very nice game, and so far it is 3 punch-outs and an inning and 2/3. So Dreyer is pitching very well on the mound right now for the Mariners. You can tell he's definitely feeling comfortable throwing all his pitches. Features a nice arsenal, too. A couple off-speed pitches, a change-up, slider, curve.
So the 7-hitter Tommy Jew digs in from the right side, and first pitch is cut on and missed, count 0-1. And And the 0-1 pitch from Dreyer. Fastball misses upstairs to the right-handed hitter.
Especially as a lefty facing a righty, that slider will come in right in on the hand. So if you can really tie up a right-handed hitter.
A 1-1 pitch. Swung on, a chopper over to second base. Casals fields. He'll toss over to first, and that'll do it for the top half of the second inning. Dreyer works a 1-2-3 inning, and after an inning and a half, it's the Mariners 2 and the Harbor Hawks nothing. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And Gabe Rivera steps into the right-hander's batter's box, bottom of the second inning. And a 2-0 Harwich Mariners lead from White House Field. We thank you for joining us on this beautiful Monday evening as the first pitch is fastball cut on and fouled off, and the count 0-1. Blue skies, not a single cloud visible from our press box.
The last 2 days on the Cape have been picturesque for sure. It's been perfect weather to do anything. Whether you want to go to the beach, go watch a ball game, go play some golf. I mean, it's been unreal.
And the 0-1 pitch swung on and deflected foul off the catcher Page's glove, and the count 0-2. Tomorrow it is supposed to be very warm, 81 degrees is the high. It's better than down south. That's just about a couple of hours towards New York City. It's 93 over there as the 0-2 pitch is cut on and fouled off, and the count remains 0-2. Have New York as one of my other weather icons on my phone, and I originally looked there, I said, 93, and then I said, oh, that's New York. Still warm here in Cape Cod, but generally it stays in that 70 to 80 range, which is pretty nice. The 0-2 pitch to Rivera. Cut on and missed. It was in the dirt, though, so fielding it as Pages, he'll toss over to first, and there's one away. And Chris Gallant was the leadoff hitter in the Mariners' order. Kicks around some dirt in the right-hander's batter's box. One away in the bottom half of the second inning. 2-0 Mariners lead. They scored their runs off of a 2 RBI single from Tanner Morris. As the first pitch is a fastball that runs upstairs for ball 1.
Yeah, Coach Anger does a nice job moving the lineup card around, putting different guys in different positions in the lineup, setting them up for success, and he did that exactly for Morris. And the
1-0 pitch swung on and fouled off. Count 1-1. Gallant digs his back foot in. 1 out, base path's empty in the bottom of the second. 1-1 pitch. Fastball misses well low and outside, and the count 2-1. The 2-1. Fastball on the inside corner, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Gallon, who come into this game, is an average of 226. He's kind of struggled a bit over the last week or so.
With the base hit back in the first, though, it's up to 237 as the 2-2 pitch. Fastball with the letters in there for strike 3. Gallon not too pleased about that one. Looked a little bit high, but he's called out on strikes by the home plate umpire, Bill Pompa. So 2 away in the bottom half of the second inning. And Randolph works a couple of strikeouts to start things off in the bottom half of the second inning, and that's going to be good for his pitch count after he worked a 30-pitch first inning. And now Matt Gorski stands in from the right side and takes a breaking ball for strike 1. A 1 pitch, swung on and missed, count 0-2.
And so far, Randolph has really settled down for the Harbor Hawks now, with back-to-back punch-outs to start off this bottom of the second inning after giving up 2 runs. He's looked a little bit better this time around.
Mariners lead this game 2-0. The 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed, struck him out. And Randolph recovers from the tough first inning and strikes out the side of the bottom of the second. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top half of the third inning from White House Field as the Harwich Mariners lead in this contest 2-0. And stepping in for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks is William Holland.
It was actually interesting yesterday in Hyannis' win over Wareham. Wareham actually protested the game, and Wareham's pitcher was trying to be substituted later in the game as a designated hitter.
First pitch, fastball cut on and lined up the middle for a base hit. So Holland is aboard to lead off the top of the third inning with a single.
As yesterday, so Wareham tried to substitute their pitcher in for a designated, which there is a rule, I guess, a very small rule in the NCAA baseball rulebook, which says that as long as you play in the field for inning or whatever, there's some rule, and they try to circumvent it and try to put them in, but the umpire said no. And so Wareham went out and said, we're protesting this game from now on. Which, I mean, there really isn't much. The game just goes on. It's just under protest.
But what is the result as the first pitch is at the letters for strike 1? If it is ruled that, the call was made incorrectly, what would then happen if it's under protest? Is there any change? Do they go back and redo the game from that point? What happens? As the 0-1 pitch runs inside and ends up hitting Eric Rivera.
Well, I'm not exactly sure, and it's up to Wareham if they want to file I believe a complaint. Then they have to file it officially into the league office. So it's up to them of what they want to do, and they have 24 hours to do it, is what I've been told. So it just depends, if they did it by the deadline today or not. believe our commissioner's actually just right outside here on the deck, so we can ask him about that.
So runners on first and second with no outs in the top of the third inning. It's an interesting rule. I remember back in I believe it was the NLCS between the Braves and the Cardinals, and a pop-up into left field. It was probably 75 feet outside the infield, and they called the infield fly rule when the shortstop tried to come out, and they didn't make the catch. And the Cardinals put the game under protest. And stepping in is the leadoff man for the Harbor Hawks, Davis Wenzel from the right side. First pitch fastball on the outside corner, and the count 0-1.
Yeah, I believe that was one of the last runs for Chipper Jones, who's now a Hall of Famer. Was in one of those games. I think it was one of his last years in a Braves uniform. Remember the fans at Turner Field, every time a ball went out towards the outfield, they start yelling infield fly.
And the 0-1 pitch. Misses outside, and the count 1-1. The other part about that was that normally in the MLB there are 4 umpires, but for playoff games they expand it to 6. They have an umpire down the right and the left field lines. And the controversy was that the left field umpire was the one who made the call as the 1-1 pitch is cut on a high pop-up foul down the first base line out of play.
Yeah, I remember that they actually went into that because I believe it was when the Twins were playing the Yankees. I remember one time Joe Mauer was one of my favorite players growing up, and he lined a ball down the left field line. It was completely fair by about 5 feet, and then the umpire on third base called a foul. And there was no video evidence, where they could overturn at the time, so I was pretty irate about that.
The 1-2 pitch. Fastball cut on and fouled off to the backstop, and the count 1-2.
That's why as a catcher growing up, I always loved being around the Cape, watching these catchers really go to work. I was able to watch Matt Wieters when he played in New Orleans, and Mike Zunino when he came up, when he was a Golden Spikes Award winner.
1-2 pitch, breaking ball cut on, a high fly ball to right field. Gallen makes the catch, and the throw to third base is not in time. Advancing to second as well is Holland, or I beg your pardon, Rivera.
Yeah, it was very smart base running by Rivera. He saw the throw as from Gallen's going to go directly towards third, so he tagged up as well. So now the Harbor Hawks will have 2 guys in scoring position, and it takes away the double play now because Rivera was able to tag up to second.
So it's Holland off of third base, Rivera off of second. 2 guys in scoring position, as you mentioned. And those are the runner on second represents the tying run as Braden Como, who struck out looking back in the first inning, digs in from the right side and takes ball 1 upstairs and outside.
And this is who exactly you want to have up in the lineup with Como and Barefoot on deck. If you're the Harbor Hawks, I mean, these 2 guys have been flat out raking this season with the bat.
Como has a .347 average. The 1-0 pitch misses outside. Again, count 2-0. While Barefoot has a .382 batting average. (2-0) Mariners lead in the top of the third inning. 1 out. The 2-0 delivery from Dreyer. Fastball again outside, and the count 3 balls and no strikes on the second hitter in the Hyannis batting order. Now the 3-0. Ball 4 in the same spot. I think he was probably within 3 or 4 inches of that exact same spot on the outside part of the plate, or actually missing on the outside towards the right-handers or left-handers batter's box. But it was, again, basically the same spot every pitch from Dreyer.
Yeah, no, it's just everything was up and away, which could mean a meaning of multiple things. But it's not the worst thing in the world. They do get the double play back now, and it was a little conservative with those pitches. Not really trying to put anything on the inside half.
And Matt Barefoot is the right-handed hitter who steps in. He takes ball 1 on a breaking ball outside, and Dreyer has been hitting that same area 5 to 8 inches off the plate towards the left-hander's batter's box. 1-0 pitch Fastball misses a little upstairs this time, the count 2-0, and now 6 consecutive balls from Jack Dreyer. And jogging out to the mound is the pitching coach, Steve Gruenberg. The catcher, Mason Meadows, joins him along with the third baseman, Aaron Schunk. Bases loaded, 1 out, top of the third inning in a 2-0 Mariners lead. But the Harbor Hawks are threatening right now.
Yeah, this is big here. If Gerard can work his way out of this jam and not give up a run, it could give him even more confidence knowing that he can get out of a jam. And that's what Buckner, who pitched yesterday, has been able to do this whole season. He's been pitching himself into jams and was able to work them out. And he excelled yesterday, and Gerard looking to do the same here.
Well, the quick conversation has adjourned.
If you're a Dreyer, you want to throw at least a ground ball here and try to turn 2. If you're barefoot, that's the worst thing that you could do in the world is hit it on the ground unless you can find one of the holes. And we'll definitely want to elevate it here.
2-0 pitch, misses well outside. And now he falls behind 3 balls and no strikes on barefoot. I think if you're Dreyer, throw it down the middle of the plate. I don't think barefoot is going to be doing anything here. I know he's a power bat. As a 3-0 pitch, fastball right down the middle for strike 1. And I think that's the right move for Dreyer. Just attack the zone right now. He walked the last batter. He needs to get his confidence back, throw some strikes. And the 3-1 pitch swung on and fouled off down the right field side. That pitch may have been an inch or 2 off the outside corner, but barefoot decided to protect the plate. And the count runs full on the right-handed hitter. Dreyer has thrown 45 pitches tonight, 29 strikes, 16 balls. Up until the last 2 batters, it was outstanding command. The 3-2 pitch misses upstairs, and he walks barefoot, but more importantly, he walks in a run. As Will Holland will score, and the deficit for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks is cut to 1. And Pedro Pages now digs in for the right side. And, you know, I think things could have gone worse. It could be a 4-pitch walk, and you could be very concerned about the command from Dreyer. Now, he was able to throw a couple of strikes. You know, you don't want to just take too many silver linings here, but I think that it is important that he's found his command going into now the 4 and 5 guys in this Hyannis order. He's gotten through the worst of it, which is Como and Barefoot. First pitch to Pages in there for strike 1 on the outside corner, and the count no balls and 1 strike. It's Pages followed by Lott.
Pages got himself acclimated to the game. He's got a Barnstable wood bat there.
0-1 pitch, breaking ball cut on, a high fly ball to left field, headed back towards the track now is the center fielder Gorski, and he can't hang on to it. It was in his glove and then out, and it's going to be everybody safe. It's going to be an E8, an error on Gorski. He got to the ball out there in left center, and then it went in and out of his glove. It initially looked like Eichhoff maybe headed over to that ball, but he gave way to Gorski.
Yeah, it might have been the shadows out on left center field, as right when he caught the ball was right between the shade and the sun. So maybe the last second he also didn't look it in. Maybe trying to throw the ball in, and so he was more worried about throwing the ball in than catching the ball, and unfortunately just dropped out of his mitt.
And everybody's safe. It's a 2-2 ball game as 1 run came in as a result of the error. Everybody else was tagging, so they were held close to the base. So they're not able to send the runner from second, who was Como, home on that play as the first pitch is cut on and fouled off by Lott. And the count 0-1. Bases loaded, 1 out. Top of the third inning. It's a 2-2 game. Harbor Hawks already have 2 runs in this evening. The 0-1 pitch, breaking ball misses low, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike.
It
was a very good piece of hitting from Pages, but Matt Gorski was able to get over there, just couldn't squeeze the glove on that ball. 1-1 pitch, swung on, ground ball sharply over to second base, fielded by Casals, flipped to short for one. That's all they'll get. And a run scores, and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks now jump out to a 3-2 lead in the top of the third inning. Now that run's going to go down as unearned because it would have been the final out of the inning to get the out at second base. And now 2 away in the top of the third inning. Harbor Hawks lead this game 3-2 as Brady Lindsley digs in from the left side. Runners on first and third, 2 outs. First pitch cut on and popped up foul out of play over the Harwich Mariners dugout. The count 0-1.
It's been a nice response from, if you're Hyannis, you know, after getting up 2 runs in the first, you get 2 runs right back here in the third inning, and now it's basically a new ball game, except Hyannis can strike for more and maybe even take this lead.
And the 0-1 pitch, breaking ball in the inside corner, runner going, and now they got the runner in the rundown. Lipsius looking back, the runner at the plate, and they're going to tag out Todd Lott over at first base. The Mariners executed that rundown perfectly, and the runner on third did not even understand what was going on. That was barefoot, and I think he just didn't quite understand that he was supposed to run home during that rundown.
Yeah, I think he might not have understood the situation with 2 outs, and third base coach and his manager was telling him at the end of the play, like, you got to make a move down the third base line, and he just stood there a few steps off the bag. It was basically designed for him to get home and basically for the speedy lot to get caught on a rundown, and then he did for a little bit, but nothing happened really.
It's a tough play, of course, if you're looking back the runner at second base and you're trying to have a rundown go on while the runner possibly could score. It's an awfully tough situation for the fielders, but after a base running error from Matt Barefoot, the game remains 3-2 at the end of 2.5 innings of play. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back in the bottom half of the third inning as the Mariners trail in this ball game 3-2. Mariners jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the first, but the Hyannis Harbor Hawks responded with 3 runs of their own in the top of the third inning. So Aaron Shunk now steps in. Again, Mariners trailing by 1 run in the bottom of the third inning. Shunk has a 10-game hit streak going and a 9-game RBI streak, as the first pitch is cut on and fouled off to the backstop, count 0-1. The 0-1 delivery, swung on, a high fly ball in a shallow center field. Jew coming in, and he makes the catch. Nice running grab by the center fielder, Tommy Jew. And 1 away in the bottom of the third inning. It's the cleanup hitter, Andre Lipsius, who kicks around dirt in the right-hander's batter's box. He now steps in from the right side. 3, 4, and 5 hitters up in the inning. Shunk led things off with a fly out to center as the first pitch is a breaking ball in there for strike one. Four-hitter Lipsius to the plate. He had a 2 RBI single back in the bottom of the first. It's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball cut on and missed, and the count 0-2 to the right-handed hitter. And the 5-hitter, Danny Casals, is on deck. The 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball cut on and missed in the dirt. And the catcher, Pages, throws down to first base, and he overthrows the first baseman, Lindsay. Advancing to second is Lipsius. He's headed around second into third base. He'll pull on the brakes there. And the catcher, Pages, makes a terrible mistake on a strikeout in the dirt, overthrowing the first baseman, Lindsley. There was no backup. Rivera had to sprint all the way over towards the Hyannis bullpen, which is where that ball ended up, and then make the throw back into the infield. And meanwhile, Lipsius advances to third base. So a massive error from Pedro Pages, and there's a runner on third base with 1 out. And Danny Casals digs in from the right side and takes strike one on the outside corner with a fastball. So it's Lipsius off of third. 1 out in the bottom of the third inning, a 3-2 Harbor Hawks lead. The 0-1 pitch, breaking ball cut on and missed, and the count 0-2. Really nice pitch by Randolph, low and out of the zone. The 0-2 delivery. Check swing. It's on the outside corner for strike 3. Casals cannot believe the call from Bill Pompa. He thought it was low and outside, and I tend to agree with him on that call. It looked a bit outside, but he's rung up by Pompa nonetheless. They're 2 away in the bottom half of the third inning. And Tanner Morris, and I said it was Lipsius who had the 2 RBI single back in the bottom of the first inning. It was Tanner Morris who had the 2 RBI singles. The first pitch is cut on and ripped foul down the first base line. It was a bloop single over the head of the shortstop, Will Holland. The 0-1 pitch swung on and fouled off right towards the press box behind home plate, and the count runs to no balls and 2 strikes. It's an opportunity for the pitcher Randolph to have 3 strikeouts in this inning as the 0-2 pitch misses outside, and the count 1-2. He did not, of course, strike out the side. The first batter, Shunk, flew out to center field, but he had a strikeout to Andre Lipsius after the overthrow by the catcher. Allowed an advance all the way to third base. The 1-2 pitch swung on, line drive up the middle for a base hit. RBI number 3 of the evening from Tanner Morris. And the Harwich Mariners tie the game at 3 in the bottom half of the third.
Yeah, Tanner Morris is really coming in clutch again with an RBI single. I was going to say it would have been interesting if Randolph would have had 4 punch-outs and 3 outs, because you've seen that before where a guy advances on just.
We saw it last year here with Agnos.
Yeah.
It's only happened just over 80 times in Major League Baseball. It's more rare than a no-hitter. It's one of the rare things that occurs in baseball. Not quite as rare as the unassisted triple play or the perfect game, as the first pitch is cut on and missed on a fastball by Nate Eichhoff, the 7-hitter.
That's big for the Mariners to tie things back up at 3 with a nice RBI again from Tanner Morris.
Tossing over to first base is Randolph. Tanner Morris had his average at 313 at the start of the day. It's up to 338. The 0-1 pitch to Eichhoff. Fastball on the outside corner, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes.
It's nice to see the Mariners bats really coming around, whereas some games beginning of the year they couldn't even score 3 runs. They've scored 3 runs in the first 3 innings alone.
So Morris leads off of first base, 2 outs, bottom of the third inning in a 3-3 ball game. The 0-2 pitch to Eichhoff, and it's a changeup cut on and missed. He was way out ahead of that ball, and at the end of 3 innings of play, it is a 3-3 game from White House Field. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
And welcome back inside White House Field for the top half of the 4th inning. As the Mariners just tied things back up in the bottom of the 3rd with a run after Hines put up a 3 spot in the top half of that inning. So it's a 3-3 ball game with Jack Dreyer back out on the mound for the Mariners. First pitch fastball's on the outside corner for a strike to the first baseman, Brady Lindsley, who was up last half inning, but getting caught a pickle was a lot as they try to score a run, but just wasn't executed perfectly.
Yeah, poor base running from the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. The idea was to have Todd Lott get himself stuck between first and second base and try to get Matt Barefoot to come home from third. And Todd Lott did his part of it.
As the 0-2 curveball just misses a bit above the letters for a ball.
But Matt Barefoot did not do his. So Todd Lott went about 2/3 the way between first and second. The Meadows threw down. He was caught in a pickle. And Barefoot just sat over there at third base as if nothing was happening.
1-2 curveballs look awfully good again at the knees this time, but just missing a bit inside for a ball. Again, it's 2-2 now on Lindsey. Pitch swung on and missed. Fastball right by him. It was down the zone, but Lindsey just wasn't expecting that one. He goes down on strikes for the first time this evening. And now make that strikeout number 4 for Jack Dreyer. There's one out here in the top half of the 4th inning.
Yeah, 57 pitches now thrown from Dreyer. And if he's on the 85-pitch pitch count, which we've referenced quite a few times here on Cape Cod, you'd have to think that he's got a shot at going 5 innings this evening. And he can give the Mariners an opportunity to win this ball game.
First pitch to Tommy Jew is swung on and missed. Fastball just a bit up in the zone as the sun begins to part ways from this beautiful day on Cape Cod White House Field. As most of the sun is out of the field now as the 0-1 pitch is swung on and lined down the first base side. Foul out of play. Is giving it a look over there was Chris Gallen. So count is now 0-2 on the center fielder. Jew plays his college ball at UC Santa Barbara. He's one of the Gauchos. Native of San Ramon, California, making the trip over to the East Coast. As the 0-2 curveball just getting a piece was Jew, and he fouls it back into the screen. And they'll again at no balls and 2 strikes. So 1 out here in the top of the 4th, nobody on, 3-3 ball game. Harbor Hawks look to continue their red-hot streak as the 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed by Jew, and he goes down on strike. So back-to-back punch-outs delivered by Dreyer. Gets things going here in the top half of the fourth inning.
Really nice pitch from Jack Dreyer outside and off the plate. And he gets a swing and a miss from Tommy Jew. And his command has looked really good ever since he struggled with it in the in the top of the third inning. When he had a couple of consecutive walks and he walked in a run, his command has looked really good since then.
First pitch is cut on a miss. This time looked like a changeup to the shortstop, Will Holland. He singled and scored back in the third inning. Was the first runner to score for the Harbor Hawks as the 0-1 pitch is on the outside corner for a strike. And again, Dreyer really looking at his pitch as well. Count is now 0-2 on all. He looks to get a 1-2-3 inning against these Harbor Hawks. Gets his sign. The 0-2 pitch from the windup. Curveball's cut on and missed. And holding on was Meadows, and that was a great 1-2-3 inning from Jack Dreyer as he strikes out the side and keeps the score at 3-3 between the Harbor Hawks and the Mariners after 3.5. We're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside White House Field for the bottom half of the fourth inning. It is a tie ball game at 3 between the Harbor Hawks and the Mariners. Mariners have dropped 2 in a row, looking to get back on track. Harbor Hawks took a big win yesterday over the Wareham game, and as they're tied in the points column in the West Division. And getting things started for the Mariners here in the bottom of the fourth is the catcher Mason Meadows. He flew out back in the first inning, and the first pitch fastball runs just a bit low and outside for a ball.
And you mentioned the standings in the East Division. The Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox are in first place, 30 points, 13, 7, and 4. Harwich Mariners,
as the 1-0 sliders in there for a strike,
are technically in second place for the meantime. They have 11 wins, 12 losses, and 1 tie. They have 23 points. Chatham's got 22 in third. The difference is Chatham has 2 games at hand on the Harwich Mariners, so they can win those games or at least get a tie. They'll be ahead of the Mariners.
One pitch just misses a bit low and inside for ball. Count is now 2-1 as Meadows slaps the 2-1 pitch down the third baseline, foul towards the bullpen area. Canning is back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And the fourth team in the East is Orleans. They're 9-13-1, and in dead last in the East and dead last in the league for that matter are the Brewster Whitecaps, who are 4-17-3.
Right now, Orleans leading the Anglers 3-0, so that's good news in that, as Orleans has won 3 of their last 4 games as a 2-2 pitch bounces in the dirt for a ball.
They lost last night to the YD Red Sox in a big way.
Chatham did, yes.
That's right, sorry. And Chatham lost 10-1.
That's
Orleans had a comeback win over Brewster 9-8.
3-2 pitch on the inside half, and down goes Mason Meadows. You can't believe it. There is 1 out here in the bottom half of the fourth inning, nobody on.
Look around the Cape Cod Baseball League. We have 1 game final. The Falmouth Commodores beat the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox 6-3. Bourne Braves on top of the Cotuit Kettleers 4-3 in the top of the 5th inning. The Wareham Gatemen blanking the Brewster Whitecaps 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th. And in the top of the 3rd inning, Orleans also shutting out the Anglers 3-0, only the bottom of the third inning from Veterans Field.
First pitch is low and outside of Rivera. He takes a big swing at the 1-0, but just fouls tip it off the catcher Page's man as the count evens back up at 1 ball and 1 strike on the number 9 hitter. So nobody on with 1 out. Wood blowing out towards left center field as Harwich is back-to-back home games, so they're wearing their home cream uniforms. 1-1 pitch bounce in the dirt as it looks like it might hit Page's. Will just shake it off, runs out to the ball as Oakland umpire Bill Papa will throw out a new one. So
and while Randolph has run into trouble this evening in terms of having allowed 3 runs, he's allowed 4 hits, walked a couple of batters. The stat that is popping out is his 9 strikeouts in the top of the 4th inning. Only 8 of those have actually been for outs, as there was the one in which Lipsius was able to reach third base last inning. But generally, whether it's 8 or 9 strikeouts, whatever you want to call it, it's outstanding. He's only recorded 10 total outs.
2-1 fastballs on the outer half of the plate. 4 strike counters, 2-2 on Rivera. The pitch, check swing, pitch down below the knees for a ball. Rivera able to lay off as first base umpire Bob Garner says he did not go to round, so count runs full. And Randolph's been a guy that so far this year has 22 punch outs and 16 inning pitch. You can't, I said coming to the game, he was good for 5th in the league in punch outs, and he's flexing tonight as just like that, a 3-2 pitch is lined right back at the pitcher and making an outstanding play on the mound. Just held his mitt there was the pitcher Randolph, and it fell right into his mitt. And sometimes those comebackers, you just put your mitt right in the best possible spot, and that's exactly what happened there.
Yeah, just good reflexes from Randolph. I recall a time when I was back in Little League pitching, and I was on the mound, and pitch was a comebacker right to me. I had my glove right next to my side, didn't even move it, went right in. So I was quite happy with that catcher. I was like, oh, how did you do that? And I was just like, it just sort of happened.
First pitch is in there for a strike against the leadoff man Chris Gallons. Baseball is a sport of hand-eye coordination. As the 0-1 curveball is right down the middle. 4 strike count is now 0-2 on leadoff man Gallon. He is 1 for 2 this evening with a single and a run. And he struck out back in the 2nd inning. Looks to try to get things started from there here with 2 outs in the inning as the 0-2 slider just misses a bit low and outside as the second baseman Como was ready to run in for the inning there, but not so fast as the home plate umpire Bill Papa.
Yeah, pitch looked awfully good. A little bit low, below the knees, but it was quite close.
Randolph comes set, fires. The 1-2 pitch is reached over by Gallon. Back on to first after it reached Randolph. It flips over to first, and the Mariners are retired in this half inning. So 1-2-3 inning from Jeremy Randolph, and after 4 innings, it is a 3-3 ball game. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside the broadcast booth from White House Field for the top of the 5th inning between the Highness Harbor-Hawks and the Harwich Mariners. Jack Dreyer, the southpaw, is back on the bump for the Mariners, and he'll be set to face the 9-1 two-hitters for this Harbor-Hawks lineup. Eric Rivera, the right fielder, will dig in from the right side. Rivera wearing the number 1 jersey for the Harbor-Hawks this season, takes a first pitch fastball at the knees for a strike. Harbor-Hawks wearing their red, orange, blue, and uniforms with white pants. Rivera swings the bat around at the top of the stance, and the 0-1 pitch just misses down the zone for ball. Candidate's back up now on a 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 pitch is swung on and foul, out of play.
67 pitches thrown on the night from Jack Dreyer. He's approaching that 85 pitch count. So if he could get a quick inning here, there's no one warming up in the Mariners bullpen right now. So if he could get maybe a really quick inning here, there's a shot that could put him back out for the 6th.
The 1-2 pitch, Rivera, curveball is swung on, and just out ahead of that one with Rivera, he chops it down the first base line toward the coach's box down there. And they'll do it again at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He struck out the side in the top of the 4th inning.
Dreyer shakes off the catcher. Meadows agrees in the count now. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball runs well upstairs for a ball. So try to get Rivera to chase.
We mentioned Randolph's 9 strikeouts. Dreyer's done pretty well in that category himself with 6.
Jarman trying to change all levels here with a curveball. It's a 2-2 pitch. Is swung on and lifted back and out of play. Just getting enough was Rivera. If it's lifted out towards the bullpen area. So count is 2 balls and 2 strikes on the 9-hole hitter Rivera. Nobody on, nobody out in the top of the 5th. 3-3 ball game between the Mariners and the Harbor-Hawks. Jar working quickly. The 2-2 pitch to Rivera. Curveball just doesn't come down enough. Count runs full.
That was a curveball that was, I believe it missed the spot by quite a bit. And it was, if it was supposed to be up, it was well too far up.
3-2 fastball runs up and away, and Rivera works a leadoff walk here in the top of the 5th. Big for the Harbor-Hawks as they look to try to retake this lead after the Mariners scored 2 in the 1st, and then the Harbor-Hawks came back and scored 3 in the 3rd. And however, in the bottom of that inning, Mariners tied it back up, and that's been the Mariners' Achilles heel this year, is just, you know, allowing big innings, and that's exactly what happened back in Highness 2 when they scored 4 in the 5th inning back in their first meeting, and they ended up losing 5-1. So first pitch runs up and outside for a ball on the leadoff man Davis Wenzel, who has flown out twice this evening. Flew out to center back in the 1st and flew out to right in the 3rd.
And now starting to pitch in the Harwich Mariners bullpen is Tom Sutera. Sutera received a full-time contract just a few days ago.
As the 1-0 pitch is at the belt for a strikeout. Wenzel count as 1-1.
And Tom Sutera has been everything for the Harwich Mariners. He's been everywhere, no matter where the Mariners need him, whether it's a spot start, long relief, an inning here, an inning there. He's been everywhere, and he's been outstanding in that role.
As the 1-1 pitch just misses a bit on the inside half, count is 2-1.
And a lot of guys like consistency. They like to know when they're playing. They like to know, are you starting? Are you coming in for 1 inning, 2 innings? Well, Sutera has been whatever the Mariners have needed him to do, and it's not something a lot of pitchers are able to do and not something a lot of pitchers like to do, but he has taken on that role, and he has been outstanding doing it.
Well, 2-1 pitch is swung on and fouled back and out of play, and sometimes as a temp player, you know, you just go with whatever the flow, the way the manager wants you to keep you around for as long as possible. And Sutera's just done that. His count is 2 balls and 2 strikes on the 3rd baseman, Wenzel. Off of first is Rivera. Left-hander drive comes set facing the right-hander, Wenzel. The 2-2 pitch, curveball misses out upstairs as the throw down to second is not in time, as running was the right fielder Rivera off of first base, and he'll take second base.
Yeah, the throw from Meadows was decent down there towards second base. Wasn't perfect. It was just over the second base bag, not slightly to the right of it where it could have been, but it was a solid jump from Rivera, and the throw was just split second late.
It also helps, too, when the curveball is thrown. Gives a little bit of an advantage to the runner. Ball takes a little bit longer to travel towards home plate as twisting and turning around with Dreyer over towards second base as Rivera had a large margin of a lead over there.
A fraction of a second oftentimes makes a difference when it's a bang-bang play over at second base.
3-2 pitches swung on and lifted over towards the bullpen area on the high on his side, running in as Gallons, and he'll make the catch as Lipsius stumbled out of the way.
And a curveball is also a little tougher for a catcher to read. A fastball right there, you know where it's going, and you can prepare to make that throw just a little more quickly. Curveball, a little bit different. And that last play, really nice job by Gallon, ranging over towards the right field line for making the catch.
So there is one out now with Rivera off of second base, and is the number 2 hitter in this Sauber Hawk lineup, Braden Como. So far, he's 0 for 1 with a walk and a run as he walked and scored back in the third. Right-hander has an RBI situation here as he tries to break this 3-3 tie here in the top of the 5th. First pitch runs low and away for a ball. Jar shakes off. Meadows comes set now. Looks back. Rivera over at second. The 1-0 pitch is check swing, and it's in there for a strike. Not sure if Como swung around completely or not as he asked the home plate umpire with the word. Shakes his head. Will step back in from the right-hander batter's box as the count is 1 ball and 1 strike on Como. Waves his bat over towards the pitcher. A little bit open stance as the 1-1 curveball is swung on and chopped over back towards the pitcher. Jar looks back. Rivera at second. Throw on the first is in time. And Rivera is retired for out number 2 here in the top of the 5th.
Couple of big outs for Jack Dreyer as he is now over 80 pitches through 4 2/3 innings of work, and I have to think this would be it. Normally the pitcher's again held to that 85 pitch count. He's at 81. Even if he was able to get this next batter in a pitch or two, I would think that Tom Sutera would probably come in to start the top of the 6th.
Yeah, I would think so as well. It's always easy for guys to come out and start an inning than try to come in the middle of it, especially with a runner on. More guys are comfortable with starting their own inning, and I think that's why Sutera will come on.
And also, if you're the Mariners coaching staff, you're thinking that Dreyer's coming out in the 6th inning. If he's at 82, 83 pitches, you know, they're thinking that this is going to be it for him. They're not setting him out in the 6th inning saying, oh, well, there's a chance he'll finish. I mean, if they're going to be firm on that 85 pitch count, you know, there's no real reason if he's at close to 85 like that, you know, he's going to be able to finish the inning.
As the 0-1 fastball is in the dirt and throw down at second from Meadows over towards Rivera, and it hits off him, and he'll go down to third base.
Yeah, it's not a great throw. I think it hit him directly on top of the helmet before deflecting out into center field. And I don't think that there's any pain or anything for Rivera, who's now over on third base. But the throw was a little high, and Lipsius wasn't exactly, or excuse me, Morris was not exactly over there covering second base. So I'm not quite sure what they were trying to accomplish there over at second.
As time is called by the man at the plate, Matthew Barefoot, the 3-0 hitter who has singled and walked in a run, as she got an RBI to his name on that walk. So right around third now with 2 outs. 3-3 ball game. Jar comes set. Kicks and deals the 1-1 pitch. 2-seam fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Barefoot can't believe it as he scrunches back on his back feet, and we'll have a 1 foot in, 1 foot out from the right side. 1-2 is swung on and fouled into the boxes now, and it hit Barefoot, and he's jumping for joy and limping out of the batter's box there. He almost down the first base line on that one's got air. We've seen a couple guys like that this year where it just bounces right off them. Walking a little gingerly now towards the on-deck circle. As As begins to make way over towards home plate area. So count will be 1 ball and 2 strikes again on the 3-hole hitter. Right around third, Rivera after he walked and then stole a base. And an error by the catcher Meadows gets him down to third. So a single will score him, even though a single probably in second base would have scored him anyway. So finally, about to step back in the box is Barefoot now with a runner on third. Wind still blowing out there towards left center a little bit. The 1-2 to Barefoot. Curveball just doesn't come down enough. It looked awfully good, but Canavan's back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. On
that pitch was awfully close, just missed a little bit upstairs to Barefoot.
So they'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strike. Pitch bouncing the dirt. Another good stop by the catcher Meadows. Count now runs full on the left fielder. Barefoot waves his bat now, bat on the shoulder as Gerard waits his sign, gets his sign down. Count is set from the stretch. The 3-2 pitches swung on and missed. The fastball blows right by the 3-hole hitter Barefoot, and he goes down swinging as the Highness Harbor Hawks leave a runner on third base. As the game is still tied at 3 after 4.5. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside White House Field as the sun is almost set here. It's 8 o'clock here. The sun will be down in the sky for the next 10 or so minutes as a nice skyline begins to appear in center field as leadoff man Matt Gorski takes a fastball in the dirt for ball 1. Gorski so far is 0 for 1. He walked in, scored in the first, and then struck out in the second inning, in which the pitcher Jeremy Randolph struck out the side. He's back on the rubber for another inning of work.
And Jack Dreyer receives some high fives over in the Harwich Mariners bullpen. It appears that his night is done. It's Tom Sutera will likely take over in the top of the 6th.
As a 1-0 pitch again, once more bounces the dirt as the catcher Pages is able to scoop it up. So count is 2-0. Nobody on, nobody out here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. 2-0 fastball runs away. Count heads to 3-0. Gorski out of Indiana. 3-0 pitches hammered out towards deep center field. Going back on his horse is Jew. Jew heading to the warning track and making the catch. Wow, he's just one step away from that ball getting out.
This is still really an encouraging sign from Matt Gorski, someone who has come alive recently in the last few games and seen his average now up in the upper 270s. And he's hitting the ball really hard. There was a couple of fly balls in each of the last 2 games where they nearly got out in both right and center field. And that ball is just another one. He probably hit that thing 390, 395. Couldn't quite put it out of the ballpark. You know, a couple other places around the league, that's a solo home run.
If they were playing YD, that would have been gone. So as a loud out number 1 as Aaron Shunk, the third baseman, takes a big swing and a miss and a changeup from the right-hander. Count is 0-1.
And also Veterans Field, and I think Veterans Field is oftentimes overlooked, but it too is a very, very shallow ballpark.
Yeah, 1 pitch is at the knees for a strike. Count is now 0-2. I guess you have to hit the ball through the fog in the air down there as well.
But at the corners right there, it's 314, and then in dead center, it is 395, but generally everywhere else it's 340, 350 or so. So generally Chatham is shallow, and maybe not quite as shallow as YD, but YD is still right around that 380 mark in center field as well. So it's not too much deeper than YD is.
As Page was up in the outside corner as a 0-2 fastball misses. Now the 1-2 pitch is swung on and hammered down on the ground towards the bullpen area, making the play down there. Unfortunately, it was one of the Mariners pitchers, and that's why they're down the field. And usually,
the other thing about YD though is the fences are a little bit higher over there, maybe 6-7 feet tall. So you got to hit it over the fence too.
A 1-2 check swing by Shunk. As the first base umpire Bob Garner says he did not go around, so the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes on the third baseman.
And Shunk is 0 for 2 this evening, looking to extend that 10-game hit streak and the 9-game RBI streak.
As a 2-2 pitch misses down in the zone for a ball, count runs full.
Extend that with 1 swing of the bat with the home run.
He'll both streaks if he hits a home run. So 1 out here, nobody on. In the home half of the 5th inning, 3-3 ball game as a 3-2 pitch. A Shunk is hammered up the middle on the ground for a base hit as it'll trickle into center field, and Shunk is on board here with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Well, the hit streak's now extended to 11 games with that base hit right up the middle. It's a good piece of hitting, solid contact right past the pitcher Randolph. And basically directly over that second base bag between Como and Holland for an easy base hit right up the middle.
Yeah, Randolph unable to reach that one this time around with the glove as it just got past him over on that base hit. So this is a dangerous part of the Mariners lineup to go through now with Lipsius at the plate. Lipsius is singled back in the first inning with 1 out as a curveball is swung on and hit towards the hole between short. Scooped up on the ground, throw across the body is Holland. The throw is in time and Lipsius is retired. However, moving towards second base is Shunk.
And it's pretty big that Lipsius is able to advance Shunk over towards second base on that play because now Shunk is in scoring position. And a base hit from Danny Casals could give the Harwich Mariners the lead.
It has been a tough play. That's the only play over there that was first for the shortstop Hall, and he's a guy that's a very good defensive shortstops in this league. We talk about a lot of them in this league, like Salgazzo, Luke Waddell, and Logan Davidson have robbed the Mariners of extra base hits this year. And just like that, the shortstop Hall making a nice play as Danny Casals is due up, but there is a pitching change for the Hyannis Harborhawks in a tie ball game at 3. After the Mariners struck first with 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning, but the Harborhawks came back and scored 3 in the top of the 3rd, but the Mariners came back in the bottom half of the 3rd and scored a run. So this ball game has been tied up at 3 ever since, as there are 2 outs here when Shunk will be on second base with Denny Casals set to come up from the plate, and it is a right-hander for the Harborhawks. One beginning to pick up here. If the one was this, going out towards left center, maybe Gorski's ball might have gone out. But so new pitcher on the mound is Keegan James out of Mississippi State for the Hyannis Harborhawks. So far this year, He's pitched in 2 games, made 3 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, no earned, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts for the Harbor Hawks so far. As he continues to warm here for the Harbor Hawks, the Mariners trying to retake this lead as Danny Casals is coming up, as I said before. And he's a guy that was, his bat was hot right around after the go-ahead home run in Orleans, but has cooled off just a bit against the Brewster series. He was hitting pretty well with a big double for the Mariners in that Brewster game, back in Brewster to get things going. And now he has a big RBI spot here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. That's Keegan James, a native of South Haven, Mississippi. So far, James pitched back on July 5th in YD, and that game resulted in a tie. He pitched 2 scoreless, gave up 1 hit, 2 punch outs, and then he pitched back on July 3rd as well.
Casals has hits in 3 of his last 4 games now. Also with 4 RBIs in his last 4 games. He had a big 2-for-5 game versus Brewster in the first game of that home-and-home with 2 RBIs, and then added 2 more in the second game. He was 1-for-4 in that contest.
Yeah, he's been the guy where, if the Mariners need something going, he's, we talk about the leadoff, the 1-out double he had at Brewster. He had a leadoff double in the 9th inning yesterday.
An interesting stat on him: of his 14 hits, 11 have been for extra bases.
First pitch, fastball runs low and outside for a ball on the 5-hole hitter Casals. 1-for-4 in yesterday's loss.
It's 3 singles, 9 doubles, 1 triple, and 1 home run, which results in his slugging percentage being a pretty high .431.
1-0 Casals misses down below the knees for a ball. Count is 2-0 on Casals. He's in a hitter count here. And so far, Keegan James has not been able to throw a strike yet.
And given his relatively high walk totals, his OPS is also relatively high at 773, despite the fact his average is only 215.
James comes set, Shunk over on second base with 2 outs. Looking back as James kicks and deals, throws a 2-0 pitch. Is spot at the knees on the outside corner for a strike. Count is 2-1 now on the second baseman. 5 hits for the Mariners this evening, and they have scored 3 runs. However, they have had 2 errors. Harbor Hawks have 3 runs on, 2 hits, and 1 error. Reads the scoreboard out in right center field. James looks back, Shunk once more. The 2-1 to Casals. Off-speed pitches once more on the outside corner for a strike. Kennedy's back up now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. With 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. 3-3 ball game. Casals digs toward the back end of the right here as Bears box chokes up just a bit on the bat. The 2-2 to Casals. Off-speed pitch down in the dirt for a ball. Count runs full. James, of course, out of Mississippi State. They made it all the way to Omaha, so that's what calls for James' late arrival here on the Cape, and only 2 appearances to this point. Bulldogs also have a new head coach this year, as they had an intern coach this year, and made it all the way to Omaha. They're almost an underdog team making it there. Unfortunately, just couldn't quite make it all the way to the championship game as Oregon State defeated Arkansas in Omaha, as the 3-2 pitch to Casals is swung on and grounded over towards the third base side, but just foul. So Casals will do it again at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
He's very comfortable in counts like these with 2 strikes, deep in the counts, working pitchers. This will be pitch number 7 of his at-bat upcoming. And he has the most walks on this Mariners team with 13. Only struck out 15 times. It's a very good ratio.
Casals is very comfortable with 2 strikes. It's in a 2-strike count now as a 3-2 pitch is swung on and hammered on the ground up towards shortstop. Fielded is Holland. Holland picks it up. Throw on to first, is in time. And James comes on to retire. Danny Casals on the ground out. So the Mariners leave a man in scoring position with Shunk over at second base. And after 5 completed innings now, it is a 3-3 ball game. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back inside White House Field for the away half of the 6th inning, and it was a 3-3 ball game between the Hyannis Harborhawks and the Harwich Mariners. New pitcher on the mound for the Harwich Mariners. It is Tom Sutera out of Siena College, native of Waterford, Connecticut.
Tom Sutera has now pitched in 15 innings for the Harwich Mariners, and again, as I was saying earlier, has done everything the Mariners could possibly ask for. Whether it's a 1-inning stint like it was last time versus Chatham, a 4-inning long relief appearance.
As the first pitch is lined on the ground over towards second base, picked up by Casal, sidearm throw over to first base, and the leadoff man Pedro Page is retired for out number 1.
Or as I was saying, the 4 innings versus Orleans on the road, or a 2 2/3 inning spot start versus Falmouth, he has done everything. So, very versatile pitcher. The Mariners have used him a lot. 15 innings, allowed total of 5 earned runs, 15 hits, 6 walks issued from Sutera.
Sutera has been the workhorse out there in the bullpen area for these Harwich Mariners and Coach Schengler, as Sutera now faces the right-hander power-hitting Todd Lott as he lines one over the head of Aaron Shunk down the left field line, picked up by Eichhoff as Lott will be held at first, and thanks to the quick throw from the left fielder out there to a very long single, as that was a rocket over the head of the third baseman, Aaron Shunk.
Yeah, it was just over his head. Nate Eichhoff, the left fielder, doing a really nice job getting over towards the left field line, making a play on that ball, and quickly throwing it back into the infield. Eichhoff, again, has been that utility player for the Harwich Mariners. He's played all over the diamond, but a lot of time out in left field, as well as first base. And he's had a couple appearances both at second and at third, but since Shunk has arrived, Shunk has owned that third base position.
I want to take his battle lineup has been red hot as the first pitch of the first baseman, Brady Lindsay, is cut on and missed. Lindsay so far is 0 for 2 with a strikeout in the 4th and a grounded out in the 2nd inning. The left-hander tries to change things here against the right-handed Tom Sutera, runner on first with 1 out. The 0-1 pitch is swung on and lifted in the air towards shallow left center field. Eichhoff heading over towards the foul line, camps under it for out number 2. So holding at first base is Lott, so there'll be a runner on first with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. 3-3 ball game between the Mariners and the Harborhawks. So with 2 outs is the center fielder Tommy Jew, who had to go back to the warning track his last time out, or his last inning, to retrieve Gorski's ball. It was hit into straightaway center, but very deep. Tommy Jew waves his bat at the top of the stance. The first pitch is swung on and rolled over towards the third base side. Shunk picked up with the glove, throw on to first, gets away from the first baseman Lipsius and heads down to the fence area as it bounces off. As each runner will advance another 90 feet as the throw is in the dirt, and good block by Meadows with the pitcher Sutera backing up behind home plate just in case. So there'll be runners on second and third now with 2 outs in the top of the 6th.
It's a big turn of events as a single swing of the bat could give the Hyannis Harbor Hawks a 2-run lead. A simple single, that is, to center field would be enough to give them the 2-run lead. So it's important that Tom Sutera has good command here and is able to get an out to close out this top of the 6th inning.
As Gio run over his elbow guard over to the first base coaching box and will jog back over to second base now.
And not only what we were talking about before with Sutera's ability to play at any time, but he's coming in clutch situations. This one an extremely close situation.
That's also the 3rd error this evening by the Mariners. 2 outs, the first pitch off. 3 pitches located on the outer half of the plate. 4 strike on the 8-hole hitter, the shortstop, Will Hollins.
Yeah, pitch looks a little bit outside, to be honest, but he gets the benefit of the doubt from the call from the home plate umpire, Bill Pompa.
Will Hollins singled and scored in the 3rd and struck out in the 4th inning as he has 10 at-bats on the season. As the 1 pitch runs inside for a ball. Candidates back up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Holland plays his college ball at Auburn. Same school as Josh Donaldson, former Harwich Mariner. Of course, Bo Jackson, 2A player at Auburn, is the 1-1 Pitch is bouncing the dirt. Good stop by the catcher. Meadows. Count as 2 balls and 1 strike now. Auburn had a very good year in the SEC with Casey Mize, the #1 overall pick, also hailing from Auburn. As time is called, and Holland will kick some more dirt around on the right side as he taps the home plate twice. Sutera comes at the 2-1 pitch. Another curveball slider misses low and outside. The count is 3-1 now.
You could tell he wanted that pitch. Was a little bit frustrated, possibly with himself a little bit in the call. So it was just off the outside corner. And it's the 8-hitter here at Holland, and he's followed by the 9 guy, Rivera.
3-1 pitch to Holland. Fastball on the outside corner. So count now runs full on Holland. So 3-2 count on the 8-hole hitter Holland. Sutera steps off for a second, but steps back on the rubber. So almost completely set here. We get a nice little skyline out in the outfield. As a 3-2 pitch to Holland, pitch runs outside for a ball, and there are now bases loaded with 2 outs here in the top half of the 6th inning as the Harbor Locks look to try to break through this tie ball game.
The right fielder from Florida Atlantic, Eric Rivera.
So with 2 outs, 9-hole hitter, the right fielder Eric Rivera out of FAU. Sutera trying to get out of this jam. After a single, then an error is how, and then now a walk. As he gets the first pitch, strike fastball in the outside corner. So Sutera had the count. That's always a good sign when a pitcher can throw a first pitch strike. His odds will go up. As the 0-1 pitch misses outside for a ball. Sutera is trying to live on the outside corner. Count is back up now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Taking in close to the home plate is Rivera. He's right in on the inside box area of the right side. Sutera looks back over at third base. That lot comes at the 1-1 pitch. Rivera swung on hard on the ground over towards second base. Casals picks it up, throw on to first. And Sutera double get out of the jam, and thanks Rivera grounding out to the second baseman Casals. So the Harbor Hawks leave 3 men on, and they pick up no runs as after 5.5 it is a 3-3 ball game. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside White House Field for the home half of the 6th inning. As will be the 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Mariners. They try to break through this 3-3 ball game here in the bottom half of the 6th. As a run has been scored since the 3rd inning, so could be a big opportunity here. That's first pitch to Morris. Is swung on a high pop up over towards the left field corner. Moving over to his right is left fielder Barefoot, and he'll make the catch for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out to Morris, who has been red hot at the plate. He had all the runs this evening.
That's right. He was 2 for 2, had a couple of base hits, and drove in all 3 Mariners runs. He was the only player in the lineup as well not to strike out in tonight's game. Everybody else has struck out at least once, Casals twice. As we take a look at the pitcher James Randolph's final line. 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 total, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. And for Harwich, Dreyer's final line, 5 innings of work, 2 hits, 3 runs as well, 2 earned, and 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. So very similar performances from the 2 pitchers.
First pitch ran upstairs. Now the 1-0 pitch is on the outside corner for a strike on left fielder Nate Eichhoff. He'll dig in from the left side facing the right-hander James. Eichhoff so far walked in the first, struck out in the third. Mariners looking to get a base runner on here with 1 out as James from the windup for the first time this evening. The 1-1 pitch just misses off the plate on the outer half. Count is 2-1 now in Eichhoff. So 1 out, nobody on. The 2-1 pitch is popped up and out of play behind the press box area. So Count Evans back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. On the left fielder out of Virginia. We said before, Eichhoff has played about almost everywhere. A little third, a little second, a little first, and outfield, left field. It's nice for Coach Anker to really move the lineup card around, move his guys around. The guys are very versatile, and they can show off to the scouts as well. It's a 2-2 to Eichhoff. Check swing, but pitch changeup misses down in the zone for a ball. Count runs full now on Eichhoff.
Eichhoff has already drawn a walk in this evening's contest. Walked once and he struck out once.
The 3-2 to Eichhoff. Curveball, strike 3 call, and Eichhoff goes down looking, and he knew it right away. As James throws a nice off-speed pitch there with 2 strikes on Eichhoff, and you're going to have a lot of guts to do that.
Nice breaking ball, and it cuts right down towards the letters. It was the upper part of the zone, and Eichhoff just let that ball go. I think he might have thought it was going to be a little bit up and out of the zone, but it just hits the upper part of the zone, and it's a strikeout for James.
So with 2 outs, it is the 8-hole hitter Mason Meadows. Meadows trying to reach base for the first Mariner this half inning. He takes a first pitch fastball in the inside corner for a strike. Meadows this evening is 0 for 2. Mariners only have 5 hits on the evening, but 3 runs to show for. The 1 of Meadows pitch runs low and outside. Count Evans back up at 1 ball and 1 strike. So James is on to take over for Randolph, as you mentioned before. 9 punch-outs really highlighting the line for Randolph. As the 1-1 pitch to Meadows, curveball swung on and missed.
Really nice breaking ball from James, and Meadows swings right over it.
So count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on the catcher out of Georgia. James shakes off the catcher, Pages. Shakes him off once more and agrees on a sign. Now takes a deep breath. The 1-2 to Meadows. Pitch is swung on and chopped over towards the shortstop. Holland comes charging in. Throws across his body. Over to first base. And Meadows is retired. So a 1-2-3 inning worked by James and Hyannis as they come up to bat now as they try to break this 3-3 ball game after 6 innings. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Top of the 7th inning as the Harwich Mariners and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks are square at 3-3. Top of the 7th as the Harwich Mariners send Tom Sutera back out there for his 2nd inning of work. Sutera worked himself into a jam and then worked himself out of that jam in the top of the 6th inning when he loaded the bases. There was an error that went along with it, but he managed to get himself out of the tough situation and kept the game at 3-3. We've talked about how he's been in all sorts of situations so far this season. Has to work no matter what the Mariners are doing, whether they're up, they're down, they're tied. In this situation, it's a crucial spot for the Mariners as it's a 3-3 game in the top of the 7th. And it's the top of the order for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Davis Wenzel, who's 0 for 3 with a strikeout in tonight's contest. The right-handed hitter digs in. First pitch. Fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. It's the 1, 2, and 3 guys, Wenzel, Como, and Barefoot. This is the toughest part of this Hyannis order, especially with the 2 and 3 guys, Como and Barefoot, both extremely dangerous. The 0-1 pitch, swung on a high fly ball to deep left field, back to the track, to the wall. You can say goodbye. A solo home run off the bat of Davis Wenzel has given the Hyannis Harbor Hawks a 4-3 lead in the top of the 7th. It's his 2nd of the season. And just like that, they're on top by a run.
And that's a big blow to the Mariners. They've been in this game ever since the 3rd inning when they tied it back up, and it's been a tie game ever since, and that was pretty much a no-doubter. Left fielder Eichhoff turned around, ran back a few steps, and just stopped running because that one up over in the trees and the woods out of left field. So it carried a good extra 10 yards, 15 yards.
That was a ball that was destroyed off the bat of Wenzel. First pitch to Como is swung on a high fly ball to deep right field. Gallen takes a couple steps back and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. It was a pitch that was just let out over the heart of the plate, and Wenzel jumped on it.
Like a curveball that just Wenzel able to read out of the hand and was over the plate as well. So able to dispose of that one over the fence in left field.
And Matthew Barefoot, who is the big power right-handed bat for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and he's hitting .377 on the season. Steps in from the right side. First pitch cut on. Ground ball over towards shortstop. Fielded by Morris. Spins. Throws. Not in time. Oh, that one looked awfully close over at first base. I thought Morris's throw was in time. Nonetheless, it was an outstanding defensive play by Morris over at shortstop.
Yeah, it was a one heck of a play. Unfortunately, just speaking, that was Barefoot. He runs pretty well. He runs decently well. And it's a nice little spin throw by Morris. And it's always tough to get your bearings after you do the spin and then to throw an accurate throw over there. And nice stretch over there by Lipses. They almost had Barefoot. He was maybe in there maybe by a quarter of a step, half a step, but.
And it's Pedro Page's turn to step into the right-hander's batter's box. Runner on first base, 1 out. Top of the 7th inning, 1 run in already for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch, fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. On the count, no balls and 1 strike. Sutera gets a sign, the 0-1 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner again, on the count, no balls and 2 strikes. It's been nice control from Sutera so far, 15 strikes, only 5 balls. And the 0-2 pitch from Sutera. Swung on a high pop-up behind home plate. Mason Meadows drifting back behind home plate, and he can't come up with it. And it was in his glove and then out of his glove, and it will remain 1 out. Count stays at 0-2.
Yeah, I think that, he just lost it. He wasn't exactly sure as Sutera and some of his teammates saying up, up, up. That was up, so he didn't get enough time to really get under it.
The 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball in there for strike 3. And they're 2 away in the top half of the 7th inning. Really nice curveball. That one's also up. And just in the upper part of the zone as there are 2 away in the top half of the 7th inning.
Yeah, Sutera so far has been packing the zone against these Auburn Hawk hitters. 17 strikes, only 5 balls.
Runner on first base, 2 outs. 1 run in already for the Harbor Hawks in the inning. It was a solo home run off the bat of Davis Wenzel. As the Harbor Hawks lead 4-3, first pitch to Lott is swung on and lined out to right field. Gallen can't make the play. Now running to second is Lott. They've got him in a pickle, and he's tagged out by the shortstop. Oh, excuse me. He's going to be safe at second base. And that is a surprising call. Looked like Morris got a glove on him, but he's called safe, and there are runners on second and third with 2 outs. And let's see, is there any argument from the Mariners coaching staff? I don't see. Oh, yep, Coach Steve Engler is on his way out there. And it's going to be an error against Gallen for missing the catch out in right field, but he threw in, and he's not happy with the fact that Lott is safe over at second base. It looked like Morris was able to tag him out, and then everybody was stunned that Bob Dwyer, the third base umpire, called him safe at second base.
Yeah, if anything, maybe the first base umpire would have maybe a better view, and if they try to overturn, let's see if Coach Denger maybe try to get the umpires together. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Looks like the call is going to go as stand.
And that's going to hurt the Harwich Mariners, because if there's a base hit now off the bat of Lindsley, it could make this a 6-3 game as opposed to a 4-3 game. So this is a crucial call.
So what actually happened there was Casals, had the ball and the glove in one hand and separate hands, so he tagged the runner out at, we're tagging with the glove but not the ball, and he also had the ball and the glove in order to tag the runner. Because Lott did, all of a sudden stop and try to head back towards first base, but all of a sudden he, made a quick second decision and just avoided it, trying to go towards second base.
Well, there's runners on second and third with 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. It's a 4-3 Harwich Mariners lead. And there didn't seem to be too much protest from the Harwich Mariners fielders themselves. There was initially, but that all sort of stopped after maybe a second, after they were surprised with the initial call, and then Coach Engler came out to argue, and he wasn't even all that upset after I think the call was explained, as you mentioned.
There's a pinch hitter on for the Harbor Hawks. It is Trevor Halver pinching for Brady Lindsley.
First pitch in there for strike 1 on Halver. Now, Halver's hitting .308 on the season in 39 at-bats. He also has a home run and 5 RBIs. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses upstairs and outside, and the count 1-1. Halver's followed by Jew and then Holland. Jew hitting just .182 on the season, and first base is open in case the Mariners look to walk Halver. 1-1 pitch. Misses low in the dirt, and the count 1-2. Halver digs back in from the left side. Runners on second and third with 2 outs. A 4-3 Harbor Hawks lead. The 2-1 pitch. Fastball in the outside corner for strike 2, and the count 2-2. 1 run in already for the Harbor Hawks in this inning. It was a solo home run off the bat of Davis Wenzel. He hit that ball probably 30 feet over the left field wall. And the 2-2 pitch, cut on and missed. And Sutera strikes out Halver with a fastball up and out of the zone. And at the end of 6.5 innings of play, The Harbor Hawks tack on a run and lead this game 4-3. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
It's time to get up and stretch and sing along with Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Yo, can I borrow your... Welcome back in the bottom half of the 7th inning. The Hyannis Harbor Hawks took a 4-3 lead in the top half of the 7th with a home run off the bat of Davis Wenzel. And stepping in from the right side is Gabe Rivera. First pitch misses low and outside for ball 1. It's a 9-1 and 2 hitters due up for the Mariners with Rivera, Galland, and Gorski. Rivera is 0 for 1 with a walk. He came around and scored a run as the 1-0 pitch is cut on and missed, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Rivera waves his bat once in the right-hander's batter's box. Now the 1-1 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed. And the count 1-2 to the right-handed hitter. And of all 5 hits in the Mariners' order, 3 of them have come among the top 4 hitters in the lineup. 1-2 pitch swung on, a weak ground ball back to the pitcher, and the pitcher James fires over to first. It's a bit high, but Pages makes the catch, and there's 1 away in the bottom of the 7th. There's 1 hit for Galland, 1 hit for Shunk, 1 for Lipsius, and then 2 for the 6-hitter Tanner Morris. And Chris Galland kicks around some dirt in the right-hander's batter's box, taps his bat on home plate a couple of times. Base path's empty with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. A 4-3 Hyannis Harbor Hawks lead. First pitch, fastball in the outside corner, and the count 0-1. Every single Mariners batter has struck out except Tanner Morris. Morris 2 for 3 on the evening with 3 RBIs. And the 0-1 pitch. Fastball, check swing from Galland. He pulls back, but it's on the outside corner nonetheless. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter. The 0-2 pitch from James. Breaking ball misses low, and the count 1-2. Gallen waves his bat a couple of times. Steps back in. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner for strike 3. Gallen goes down looking, and they're 2 away in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
And James has come on quite nicely for the highest Harperhawks. Now 2 innings. He hasn't given up a hit or a run. He picks up his 2nd strikeout. Punched Eichhoff back in the 6th, and now the 7th punches out a Gallen.
And Matt Gorski with 2 away in the bottom of the 7th inning. Steps in from the right side. First pitch cut on, and a ground ball to third base. It goes directly under the glove of Wenzel. Gorski takes a long round from first base, but pulls on the brakes and heads back over towards first. So let's see if it's going to be ruled as a hit or an error. It's going to be ruled a hit for Matt Gorski down the third base line. He's now 1 for 3 on the evening with a walk. And now it's the 4-hitter, or I beg your pardon, the 3-hitter. Aaron Shunk from the right side. Runner on first base, 2 outs. First pitch is a flare down the first base line. First baseman Pages gives chase, but cannot come up with the line drive. The bat is also broken, so he'll receive a new one.
Yeah, right off the end of the bat there, and we've seen it a couple times this year where off the end of the barrel just easily breaks.
And Shunk receives a new bat, but he's not totally satisfied.
What's some, I think some pine tar in that bat.
To mark that bat up a little bit. Puts it right above the handle, and he puts his top hand on it, both hands on it, so gets a better grip on the bat. So it's Gorski off of first base, 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th inning, a 4-3 Harbor Hawks lead. And the 0-1 pitch from James, fastball right down the middle for strike 2, and the count no balls and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter. Gorski off of first, the 0-2 pitch. Fastball in there for strike 3. Shunk goes down looking. The end of 7 innings of play. The Mariners trail 4-3. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
How much is FanDuel? How much is not? 643-802. 643-802.
Welcome back in the top half of the 8th inning as the Harwich Mariners trail the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 4-3. Tommy Jew steps in from the right side. It's Jew, Holland, and Rivera. Jew up in the top of the 8th, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. First pitch, fastball on the inside corner for strike one.
It is the battle of the Tommies here between Tommy Jew and Tom Sotera.
With my broadcasting partner, Tommy Zinzarella.
And that is not my name, that is Thomas.
0-1 pitch down the third base line and the count 0-2. Is Tom okay?
No.
No, just Thomas.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy Jew steps back into the right-hander's batter's box after his ground ball foul on the third base line. He was headed up the first base line as it rolled foul. The Harbor Hawks took the lead in the top half of the 7th inning with a solo home run from Davis Wenzel as the 0-2 pitch is cut on and a high pop-up into shallow center field. The second baseman, Casals, moves out into the outfield grass and makes the catch for the out. So one away in the top of the 8th.
Number 11, the shortstop from Auburn, Will Holland.
And Will Holland digs his right foot into the right-hander's batter's box. Takes a practice swing. First pitch, breaking ball misses low for ball one on the count 1-0. Holland waves his bat in a circular motion. The 1-0 offering. Cut on and a high pop up once more. This time it's in the infield. Casals gets under it. Now moves onto the outfield grass and makes the catch. As it was moving on him a lot, he was trying to battle the lights and eventually makes the catch. But a quick 2 up and 2 down in the top half of the 8th inning. Sutera has now pitched 2 2/3 innings and thrown just 33 pitches. He's been very efficient this evening, Tommy. Thomas.
And the wind is also blown out just towards center field as well, so the ball carrying him a little bit at the last second on Casals, but still able to circumvent all those problems and the obstacles and make the catch.
And the 9-hitter Eric Rivera takes strike one right down the middle with a fastball. Count 0-1. Base paths empty with 2 outs at the top of the 8th. The 4-3 Hyannis Harbor Hawks lead. It's going to be a dangerous top of the 9th for the Harwich Mariners to deal with. They can get out of it here as the 0-1 is chopped over to first base, tossed back over to Sutera. He reaches first base in time, and that'll do it for the top of the 8th. It's a quick 1-2-3 inning from Tom Sutera. In the 9th, it'll be the 1-2-3 guys for Hyannis. He'll have to deal with that then. But at the end of 7.5, it's the Mariners 3 and the Harbor Hawks 4. Listening to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back in the bottom half of the 8th inning as the Harwich Mariners trail the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 4-3. It's the 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for the Harwich Mariners. Doesn't get much better than this. Lipsius, afterwards it will be Casals, followed by Tanner Morris. And Tanner Morris is 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs in tonight's contest. First pitch misses for ball 1. Count 1-0. And the 1-0 pitch is cut on and fouled off to the screen, and the count 1-1. 3 hitters combined are 3 for 9 on the evening.
And with rally self of the game now for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, it is the end for Keegan James, and he pitched a nice outing here. 2 1/3, 1 hit, no runs, no earned, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. Helped really preserve this game for the Harbor Hawks in time to give them the lead.
And the 1-1 pitch, breaking ball in the outside corner on the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter. And the Mariners had 3 runs in the first 3 innings, but the bats have fallen quiet over the past 4. And the 1-2 pitch is swung on, a ground ball at the middle for a base hit. And Lipsius has himself aboard with a leadoff single in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
It's another 2-hit game for Lipsius, whose bat has been red hot at the plate.
Number 18, the second baseman from the University of Maine, Danny Casals.
And Danny Casals steps in from the right side. Runner on first base, no outs. Bottom of the 8th inning. The Mariners trail this game by 1 run. And I'd have to think that at some point the Mariners will try to get Lipsius over to second base if they're not able to do it with the bats. As the first pitch is tossed over to first as Lipsius skips back in safely. So it is vital to try to get him in scoring position so they'll have at least an opportunity to score him with a base hit. And the first pitch to Casals, he squares around a bunt, pulls back, and ends up getting a piece of it nonetheless as it goes back to the backstop, and the count 0-1. And Lipsius, I think, initially thought the ball had just gotten by the catcher Wilkie. He was headed off to second base, but didn't realize that it actually fouled off the bat of Casals. And the 0-1 pitch, squaring around a bunt again is Casals, but he bunts this one foul, and the count 0-2.
Again, bunting a major key down the stretch as well. Late in games, again, they're bunting for base hits and sacrifice bunting today in BP again. So, coach is preparing them well during BP. It's just a matter of up to them now if they can do it in the game.
Well, Casals steps back into the right-hander's batter's box. The 0-2 pitch swung on and fouled off to the backstop, and the count remains no balls and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter. And I'll toss back over to first, and diving back in this time is Lipsius. Oh, 0-2 pitch to Casals, cut on and fouled off. Lipsius leads off first base, 2 no outs. The 0-2 pitch misses upstairs in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mariners trail by 1 run in the bottom half of the 8th inning. They're trying to tie this ball game at 4-4. The 1-2 delivery. Swung on and missed, and advancing to second base is Lipsius. The ball was in the dirt. And as a result, Lipsius can advance, but because there's already a runner on first base, the drop third strike rule does not apply. But Lipsius finds himself in scoring position nonetheless, and it looks like there's going to be a call to the bullpen here at White House Field. We'll step aside and be back. It's the Mariners 3 and the Harbor Hawks 4. Listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
And welcome back inside White House Field. As new pitcher on the mound is Adam Elliott out of Louisville. And he's been lights out this year with a .81 ERA in 7 games, including 1 save, 11 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, 5 walks, and has given up 9 hits. He last pitched back on July 3rd. Pitching in the third against Bourne, he gave up 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout.
And stepping into the left-hander's batter's box is Tanner Morris. The Mariners would rather have no one else. He's 2 for 3 on the day. Has 3 RBIs. There's a runner in scoring position right now with 1 out. Mariners trailing this ball game 4-3. First pitch to Morris, fastball in there for strike 1. The 0-1 pitch runs upstairs and inside, and it doesn't quite clip Morris. It looked awfully close. So the count 1-1. I don't think that's actually the worst thing that could happen to Elliott, as there would be runners on first and second, 1 out. And you don't really want to face the red-hot Tanner Morris as the 1-1 pitch. This is low in the dirt, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
I think Morris really wants to swing away here. You know, a guy that's driven on all 3 runs for the Mariners this evening with singles in the first and the third inning.
After Morris has Eichhoff and Meadows. The 2 of them are 0 for 5 with a walk this evening. The 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball on the outside corner, and Tanner Morris is not a fan of that call from the home plate umpire, Bill Pompa. But it's a strike nonetheless. He digs back in from the left-hander's batter's box. Lipsius leads off of second base. The 2-2 pitch swung on, a high pop-up in the infield. And the first baseman, Pages, moves over and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. So 2 away in the bottom of the 8th, and it's up to Nate Eichhoff to try to drive in a run.
That was almost an interesting call as the first baseman. Pages came in to call it off. He came right across the second baseman, Como. And I would have thought it would have been an easier play for the second baseman. The first baseman making a long way. Made it a little interesting there as he ccame in and he caught the ball around his chest area, so he didn't really catch it above him. He was kind of caught on the upslope over toward his neckline. Especially with the swirling winds, was going out towards, still blowing out towards left center field, so it was carrying it just a little bit more.
And the pitch to Eichhoff. Breaking ball misses a little bit inside, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. The 1-0 pitch. This is low in the dirt, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. So Eichhoff digs back in from the left side. Runner on second base, 2 outs. 4-3, Harbor Hawks lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. The 2-0 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed, and the count 2-1. Eichhoff moves his bat in a circular motion. The 2-1 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed on the inside part of the plate, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Elliott fights back to even the count at 2-2. The home plate umpire, Bill Pompa, calls time as the catcher, Wilkie, will head out to have a chat with Elliott. Really quick chat. I think it was just making sure they're on the same page with the pitch. Probably said the name of the pitch he wanted and then jogged right back. So the count 2-2. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th inning. The pitch swung on and fouled off out of play, and the count remains 2-2.
Yeah, another big pitch here from Elliott as Eichhoff did a nice job of just putting and fouling it out of play. Wait to see another pitch, see if Elliott can make a mistake here.
The 2-2. Breaking ball cut on and missed, and Eichhoff goes down swinging in the bottom of the 8th inning. That will do it. Mariners strand 1 at the end of 8 innings of play. It's the Mariners 3 and the Harbor Hawks 4. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back in the top half of the ninth inning. A 4-3 Harwich Mariners trail the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. And Davis Wenzel put the Harbor Hawks on top 4-3 in the top half of the seventh inning. He's back up at the plate to start things off in the top of the ninth. First pitch, fastball misses low in the count 1-0. Tom Sutera back out on the mound for his fourth inning of work. He pitched the 6th, 7th, and 8th. And no one is warming up in the Mariners' bullpen, so it appears that he has the ninth too. 1-0 pitch misses upstairs to Wenzel, and the count 2 balls and no strikes.
Obviously, Sutera has done a little bit of everything between starting and out of the bullpen. Very comfortable pitching in long relief.
And it saves the rest of the bullpen too. Makes them all available for tomorrow night's game as the 2-0 pitch is a check swing, and it deflects off the bat of Wenzel. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike on the right-handed hitter. Wenzel taps home plate a couple of times. Base path is empty in the top of the ninth inning. The 2-1 pitch cut on, a blooper towards right field, but moving back onto the outfield grass is Casals who makes the catch. Really nice play by Casals, ranging back into the outfield grass to make that catch. It looked like it may be headed into right field for a base hit.
Yeah, leadoff man Wenzel just trying to muscle it out towards right center field, but just not enough out of reach of Danny Casals.
And now it's the 2-hitter, Braden Como. He has a 10-game hit streak on the line. He's yet to get a base hit in this evening's contest. First pitch runs inside for ball 1. He's seen his average drop substantially this evening. It came in right around 350, and it's down to 338. The 1-0 from Sutera. Cut on and fouled off towards the Harwich Mariners dugout down the third base side. In the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. In Cape Cod, many of the home teams have their dugouts on the third base side, despite the fact that in Major League Baseball it's almost uniform that they're on the first base side.
That's what makes the Cape League unique, though. Quirky things like that.
And the 1-1 pitch to Como. Breaking ball in there for strike 2 in the count 1-2 on the right-handed hitter.
It's weird too, because it's kind of like the minor leagues as well. It's split between some home teams having it on the third base side, some teams have their dugouts on the first base side.
1-1 pitch, breaking ball cut on and missed. And he strikes out Wenzel. He goes down swinging for the second time this evening. And now 0 for 4, and unless that Como gets another plate appearance this evening, that will snap his 10-game hit streak.
Number 28, the left fielder from Campbell, Matthew Barefoot.
And Matthew Barefoot digs into the right-hander's batter's box. He has extended his 13-game hitting streak to 14 games with 2 hits and a walk this evening. First pitch, breaking ball, cut on and missed, and Barefoot was badly fooled on that pitch, swung way over it. And the 0-1 pitch misses, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 delivery swung on and fouled off out of play, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Base path's empty, 2 outs, 4-3 Harbor Hawks lead. 1-2 pitch to Barefoot. This is outside, and the count 2-2 to the right-handed hitter. Barefoot's average all the way up at 386. And the 2-2 pitch is cut on and fouled off, and the count remains 2-2. In the top of the ninth inning, it will be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Mason Meadows, Gabe Rivera, and Chris Galland will be tasked with trying to make up one run. That's as long as the Mariners are able to hold the Harbor Hawks in the top of the ninth. The 2-2 pitch, curveball cut on and missed, and Barefoot goes down, swinging another 1-2-3 inning from Tom Sutera, who has been brilliant this evening. He allowed the one home run, but aside from that, it's 4 innings of work, and he keeps the Mariners in this ball game. After 8.5, it is the Mariners 3 and the Harbor Hawks 4. We're headed to the bottom of the ninth inning. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back in the bottom half of the ninth inning. The Harwich Mariners trail the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 4-3. And Brad Debo will come to the plate to face off against the new pitcher for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, Dylan Thomas. First pitch to Debo, runs upstairs and inside for ball 1.
And Ben Norman is on deck, so he'll be pinch hitting
for Gabe Rivera. It's the 8, 9, and 1 spots. Not necessarily the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, because the 8 and 9 hitters are not coming to the plate in this inning, as the 1-0 pitch misses low and inside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Debo is pinch hitting for Meadows. Norman pinch hitting for Rivera. The 2-0 pitch swung on and fouled off behind home plate over the press box, and the count 2-1. Aaron is trying to play matchups with the right-handed pitcher Thomas. They're going with a couple of lefties. The 2-1 pitch misses upstairs, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike to the left-handed hitting catcher. The 3-1 delivery. Swung on, a ground ball towards third. Nicely backhanded by Wenzel. Throw to first is in time. And that ball looked like it could be headed down the third base line for possibly extra bases. But a nice backhanded play by Wenzel, and he's able to throw across the diamond to get Brad Debo at first base. He does not run particularly well like some of the other players in the Mariners, like Gorski, Thompson, or Gallen, and if it was one of those three, there's a good chance he would have been safe over at first. But there's one away in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Ben Norman due up for the Harwich Mariners. And Norman steps out of the left-hander's batter's box. And he digs back in. The first pitch swung on and fouled off to the backstop, and the count 0-1. The 0-1 pitch to Norman bounces a couple feet before home plate. And the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike on the left-handed hitter. And the catcher, Wilkie, walks out to the mound to have a discussion with Thomas. Mariners looking to snap their 2-game losing streak as they trail 4-3 in the bottom of the 9th inning. This game was tied until the top of the 7th when Davis Wenzel had a solo blast to left to put the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on top 4-3. Norman takes a practice swing. He now digs in the left-hander's batter's box. The 1-1 offering misses outside, and the count 2-1 to Norman.
Norman, a guy who usually gives you a long at-bat, really sees a lot of pitches so far, doing a good job. He's doing a hitter's count here.
Thomas has only walked 1 player on the season. The 2-1 pitch misses outside, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike, and he has struggled finding the zone tonight. That's 3 strikes thrown compared to 6 balls. And that's 17 strikeouts compared to the 1 walk. So it's an outstanding ratio from the right-handed pitcher. Here's the 3-1 pitch. It misses outside. We'll make that 2 walks on the season as the Harwich Mariners have a runner on first base with just 1 out. I know I've mentioned this a little bit in the past, but I think it's going to be important for the Mariners to try to find a way to advance Norman over to second base so they have a shot with a base hit trying to tie this game.
We'll have to see how the at-bat goes and if they try to get Norman over.
And there's a meeting at the mound.
Assistant coach Ron Polk maybe to talk things over. There is a arm down in the pen warming for the Harbor Hawks, but again, it's just situational, I'm guessing, and maybe upcoming pitches to the hitter Gallons.
And the pitcher warming up is Wes Engel. Engel has a 2 ERA, left-handed pitcher. And it's an interesting decision that they're even thinking about warming up the lefty out in the pen, because if you look at the upcoming hitters for the Mariners, Galland, Gorski, Shunk, Lipsius, Casals, all of them are right-handed hitters. And now the Mariners have a runner on first base. They're headed back to the top of the order. And there's some dangerous hitters here. It's Galland, the leadoff hitter. He had a single back in the first inning and scored a run. And then it gets really dangerous with Gorski, who's hitting very well right now. Shunk, who has an 11-game hit streak going. So we'll have to see what the Mariners order is able to do. I would think the Mariners are going to refrain from stealing second base until there are 2 outs. They don't want to run themselves into an out before they need to do so. First pitch to Galland is cut on and fouled off over towards the Mariners' pen. So Galland digs back in from the right side. And the pitcher Thomas will toss over to first as Norman easily slides back into first. Runner on first base, 1 out. Mariners trail by a run in the bottom of the 9th. The 0-1 pitch misses upstairs. Galland showed bunt and pulled back. Count 1-1 to the right-handed hitter. And Thomas continues to throw balls. 4 strikes, now 8 balls thrown by the right-handed pitcher.
Well, especially the way Galland has struggled a little bit, maybe punting for a base, it wouldn't be a bad idea with a third baseman playing back as well, but I think he'll hit away.
1-1 pitch, swung on a high, pop up in foul territory. The catcher, Wilkie, runs out of room as the ball goes out of play down the first base line, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Gallen steps back in from the right side. Norman leads off of first base, 1 out in the bottom half of the 9th inning. And throwing over towards first again is Thomas. And easily skipping back to the bag is Norman. The 1-2 pitch, swung on, a line drive right to first, and diving back to first safely is Norman. So the Mariners stay alive, almost extremely unlucky, as Gallen lined that ball right to the first baseman Pages. And Norman, who was only a few feet off the bag, had to dive back to make sure he beat the hand of the first baseman Pages back to the bag.
Wow, I actually have no idea how he got back in there, but really a good job by Norman, because that would end the game right there. Just getting back in time is huge for the Mariners.
So the Mariners stay alive in the bottom half of the 9th inning with 2 outs. They trail 4-3. I would be surprised if Norman doesn't try to steal. First pitch, breaking ball in there for strike 1 on Gorski. He's had a couple of times to look at Thomas and his delivery towards home plate, how frequently he's checking on the runners. And the Mariners would love to have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. That would make things a heck of a lot more interesting.
Wind is still blowing out towards left center.
0-1 pitch, breaking ball in there for strike 2 on Gorski. Gorski 1 for 3 on the evening with a walk. Each of the first 4 hitters in the Mariners' order have a base hit. Gorski taps home plate once. Mariners down to their final strike. Tossing back over to first again is Thomas, and he is keeping Norman close to the bag. He's not letting him steal second base. The 0-2 pitch, breaking ball misses upstairs in the count 1-2. And while Thomas had a really hard time finding the zone over the first couple of hitters, he seems to have regained at least some of that control. It was 4 strikes, 8 balls, and now it's 8 strikes, 9 balls. So 4 of the last 5 pitches have been strikes. And he's ahead in the count 1-2 on Gorski. The 1-2 pitch, swung on, a high pop-up. Foul, and the catcher Wilkie gives chase, runs out of room again, and the count remains 1-2.
Thomas, the last 2 hitters, has gone ahead of both Gallen. He's been ahead of Gorski in this at-bat as well. Going back to his control, and
so Norman leads off of first base, 2 outs in the bottom half of the 9th inning. The 1-2 pitch, fastball on the outside corner for strike 3, and the Mariners fall tonight by a score of 4-3. They were close all the way through. They had the bats early on, but the bats did not come through late in this ball game. Mariners had an opportunity to try to come back and win this game. They had a runner on first base with just 1 out, but Gallen was unable to come through, and then Gorski struck out looking, and the Harwich Mariners fall by a score of 4-3 tonight to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and now have lost 3 consecutive games. And I think if you look at the positives from tonight's game, there are a number of them. Especially it has to come from the pitching staff, though. It's Jack Dreyer, who had a really strong outing this evening. He pitched 5 innings, allowed 3 runs, just 2 earned, struck out 8, allowed 2 hits and 3 walks.
yeah, I mean, just looking back at it, maybe if one thing to pick on might be the walks as well, because one of those walks, came in for a run as well. But overall, only 2 hits given up by Jack Dreyer. Really good outing for him, and then to tear it on for relief. Really, the only damage done was that long ball for Wenzel. Unfortunately, ended up being the difference in this game, with that being the go-ahead run and ended up being the game-winning run for the Harbor Hawks.
Now let's start back in the bottom half of the first inning for the Harwich Mariners. After Chris Gallen singled into right field, Matt Gorski drew a walk, and the runners on first and second. Shunk would then struck out looking. And Lipsius had a base hit over to right field. The Mariners had the bases loaded with just one out.
Yeah, no, again, I think that was, 2 runs was solid start. Looking back now, I don't think they would have thought that they would lose this game 4-3, but again, I think, coming out of the opportunities at Morris, they'll come and rise to the occasion, and Eichhoff, and we're going to walk after that, but I think it was a good first inning because, again, the last 2 games, that they had lost prior to this game, they had struggled to score first, and again, the opposition was scoring first every time, and it's, again, after a while, it's tough to keep playing catch-up every single game, and tonight was the first time in a couple games that they're able to score first and strike first in the first inning.
Mariners, as you mentioned, scored 2 runs in the first inning. It was a 2 RBI single off the bat of Tanner Morris, and the Mariners went on top 2-0. And after that, there were no runs scored until the top of the third when the Hyannis Harbor Hawks responded with 3 of their own runs. It was a single, a hit by pitch, and then the runners were able to advance. There were the bases loaded with just 1 out, and Dreyer had lost his control at that point. He walked Como on 4 pitches, then he walked Barefoot on 4 pitches, and that was the first run of the game for the Harbor Hawks.
Yeah, and just that half inning, Dreyer just couldn't find the zone. And that's maybe the only damage that might have really hurt him in the end was the walks, and I said before, the walk in a run was just unfortunate off of Dreyer. He's probably pitched extremely well this evening, and just that 1 walk might have come back to hurt him. But again, just really good outing from Dreyer. His stuff was looking good from up here in the booth.
The Mariners allowed 3 runs there. They responded with a run of their own in the bottom of the third inning. It was another base hit off the bat of Tanner Morris. And the Mariners tied it at 3 at that point. It was a line drive into left field. And the game remained that way until the top half of the 7th inning. And leading off the top of the 7th was Davis Wenzel, and that's when the whole game changed.
Yeah, no, that was just a hanging off-speed pitch there to Wenzel from Sutera, and Wenzel puts over the fence over in left field, and that really was the difference tonight. And tough game for Sutera. He'll get up with the loss, but again, a really good outing from Sutera. Just the only damage done was that 1 hit from Wenzel.
That's exactly right. I mean, Sutera was outstanding this evening. 4 innings of work. He comes in after Dreyer pitches 5, and Sutera is efficient. He allows just 3 hits and 1 walk. He strikes out 4 batters, and he looked great out there on the mound. The only thing that comes back to hurt him is the solo home run in the top of the 7th inning. If he doesn't allow that home run, he's being praised for having a tremendous outing, and he still did have a very nice outing. It's going to be unfortunate for him to get the loss this evening, but that's sometimes just the way it goes. So that will do it from us here at White House Field. The Mariners were originally scheduled to be off tomorrow, but they're going to be in YD. It's a reschedule of the Friday night rainout. Tonight we will also have the podcast posted with Chris Gallen for Mariners Monday. And that will do it from us here at White House Field. So for my broadcasting partner, Thomas Inzarella, I'm Austin Rooney saying so long as the Harwich Mariners fall to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks by a score of 4-3.